On today's show, I'm going to talk about the new Marvel show on Disney Plus. Mike says this week's preview is going to double his subs list. And Pat says Super 7 rolls the D20 to see if they can defeat Hasbro. Welcome to your favorite live streaming, whatnotting podcast, Comics and Collectibles in the Crawl Space by Exceller Comics. And I am your third or fourth favorite podcasting host, Kevin. And two of the other three are in the room. Let's start today with Patrick.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning. And then, of course, we couldn't do half of what we do without good old Mike.
Hey, good morning, guys.
Good morning. So what's the verdict on that awesome, clever intro of mine? What do you think?
That was really good. I got it. Good. Flawless, too.
Yeah, I hope the viewers got my joke, too.
I think it works on multiple levels. We can discuss that when we get to it, though.
Okay, I can't wait. But before that, though, man, it seems like we just did this last week. It seems like we do it way more than once a month. But the next previews is ready to go. And Mike's been ready for 2 weeks. Right, Mike?
Yeah, I've been anxious. Yeah.
All right. No need to wait any further. Let's get at it.
Cool.
Hey, do you know what instrument that is? What's the instrument called that goes dunk dunk in that intro, Mike?
Cowbell.
Is it the cowbell?
Well, it might be a muted cowbell, yeah.
Okay, I'm buying it.
Like you don't
I
hold
like
it by
that
the top.
part.
You kind of just hold it and then hit it on the side. It's more muted.
Okay. See, I knew one of y'all would know. That's my favorite part of that intro, though. So, all right, Mike. No need to wait any longer. And you're first, coincidentally. What you got for your first submission of this month's preview? And this is this is the January previews that will be out in March.
Yeah. Yep. We're going to start with the book that I'm looking forward to the most. This is Feral from Image Comics. Issue number 1 comes out March 27th. And this is from Tony Fleece and Trish Forstner. Everybody, they're fans of them who recognize the art style and everything. This is from the creators of Stray Dogs. This next series, obviously from the cover there, has to do with cats. And the gist of it is 3 indoor cats get lost outdoors during a rabies outbreak.
Here we go with the rabies talk again. Man, it's coincidences galore again with our show. Here we are with rabies again for a second consecutive week.
So I'm excited for this. Stray Dogs was fantastic. I loved it. This is going to be cool. And I've got they do a lot of the horror cover variants. So for this one, the open order B cover for number 1 is actually the homage for Dawn of the Dead, George Romero. And then we've got the sketch cover, which you should pick that up because, Trish Forstner will do sketches on there. I think the smaller ones are usually, she was charging like $35. It's not bad for a quick sketch. And then this is the 1 in 50, I think it was. Yeah, this is the 1 in 50, which it's kind of aggravating that they would do, you know, the Dawn of the Dead open order, but then the Day of the Dead is a 1 in 50. So if you're trying to put little sets together, man, they're gonna get you on that. So
It's rough.
That's my first
why we
one.
stopped. That's why we stopped collecting books just for the cover. We don't do that.
Right. Yep. And I only ordered the A cover. Yeah. Just for that reason. It's like, man, I'm not going to get one and then be angry because I'm a completist here and not get the other one. So just,
Right. Right.
but yeah, I'm really looking forward to that book.
Yeah, me too. I actually heard it's possibly going to be an animated show as well. And Colin and Will are both up for the main voiceovers for those, because of the name of the title. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. Yeah. I get jokes.
That one.
And I was like, really? And I was going to say, are they actually doing like a Stray Dogs animated? That'd be great.
Would be great. No crickets on that one either, or laughter. So I don't know whether that was funny or not. Hey, and just
sorry, Kevin.
Go ahead.
Wasn't there a movie called Stray? Didn't that just? And I think Will Ferrell was the voice of one of the animals in it.
I don't remember that. That's an awesome coincidence, though.
Yeah.
It's like you on the surface it looks like a kids movie, but it's really raunchy.
Oh yeah. I think I'm familiar with that. I don't know if Will Ferrell was a voiceover.
I can't remember.
That's great though. And just so anybody doesn't think I'm stupid, that was a joke. Just Colin Farrell, Will Ferrell reference. That wasn't because I actually think there's going to be one. I'm just a professional comedian here.
Uh-oh. There they are.
Yeah, totally cricket. Man, it had me going for a second. I thought really there was going to be animated. All right. I'll ruin my day. Go ahead. Who's next?
What do you got for me to make a joke about next?
Let's see. I have the Hellboy Artist Collection. This is the first one of these they're doing, and the first artist they've selected is Richard Corbin, who did a number of stories for Mike Mignola. This is a hardcover, $50 cover price there. These are oversized, sort of deluxe books. They have like a cloth binding with a cloth cover with like gold foil, as you can see there. I have all the regular volumes. I have these books in some form or another, and I'm highlighting because I think it's cool and part of a nice collection. If you have all those, they call them library editions. If you have all those Hellboy library editions, this is a nice addition to it. But and I don't know if people might look down upon me, but I'm not the biggest Richard Corbin fan. I thought it was. I enjoyed the stories, but I don't know if I'd go so far as to pick up this artist's collection. But it's pretty neat that they're doing them. And yeah, it's like we talked. If money was no object, I'd probably get it to set it right there next to my other ones. Yeah. But I'm kind of up in the air about whether I'll actually get on board for this one.
Right. Because unfortunately, money is an object in your life, Patrick.
Yep, that's true.
As with all of us. All right, my first one is seems like I found a few of these this month in previews, but by different publishers. This is from Vault Comics, and this is Slash Presents Deathstalker, which Deathstalker is a cult cinema hero, if you're familiar with him. So this is Slash from none other than what's that band, Mike?
Guns N' Roses.
Yeah, Guns N' Roses. Take.
You knew that, right?
Yes, I did know that.
Okay.
I can never forget. I talk about Guns N' Roses all the time as a joke, also with my dad jokes, because my daughter, which speaking of that, it's my daughter's 21st birthday today. Happy birthday, Lexi. Her boyfriend. her boyfriend's name is Axel, so that leaves open the door for Guns
Mm.
N' Roses references galore.
Yeah.
Anyway, so this is Slash's take on Deathstalker because I guess he's a big fan too. This is written by Tim Seeley, and the artist is Jim Terry, and this cover is done by Nathan Gooden. So even though money is an object, I might actually grab this because this looks pretty cool, and this is what I'm really into as of late anyway. So
yeah, there's also a Slash cover.
Hey. Oh, sorry. I thought you were gonna give a spoiler alert about something else I was gonna talk about. Yeah,
No.
actually, I like this cover better than the Slash cover.
Yeah. Well, I mean, for fans of GNR and Slash himself,
Just to let them know. Okay, yeah. I guess I
just let
should
him
have
know.
been like you with the multiple covers. That gummit, you're always.
I almost put that one and in my for the cover. I almost put that in there, but it didn't make the cut. It got cut.
Gotcha. All right, what's next for you?
I'm up again. All right. My next one is Morning Star from Mad Cave. It's a 5-issue series. Issue number 1 comes out 3/27, and it's by Tim Daniel, who did. I'm trying to think. I can't remember the monster book that he did. Something monsters. Anyway, so this is a sci-fi horror. We've got a smoke jumper, and he perishes during a raging wildfire, and then his family actually go to what's called the Morning Star Lookout to, spread his ashes and his remains, whatever, and things go wrong. Let's just say that. I don't know. So I imagine there's some alien stuff there, and maybe if I just speculate maybe he didn't perish because of the fire. Maybe it was an alien thing. I don't know, but it looks pretty cool.
Okay.
And I think that's the only cover I have for that. Oh no, look at me. There's some interior artwork. Yep, I really like that art. I had the B cover. I actually prefer the B cover, but for some reason it must have dropped off. Yeah, it didn't. So the B cover is more striking. So have a look at that when you get a chance. It's a Morning Star from Mad Cave.
Nice. Okay. Getting into some mad cave as of late.
Yeah.
Was this the one you shared in the group?
No.
There's a third one from Mad Cave as well then. Okay. Sorry, Pat.
That's all right. Wasn't sure if you had any more comments on.
Oh no, you're up, Pat.
All right.
World's
Finest Superman Batman has reached its 25th issue. They're hyping this up. It's an oversized issue. It is a $5 cover price, 40 pages, and the World's Finest book is sort of its own thing. It doesn't really it's in continuity, but it's older tales of the past, I guess, because this is the first meeting between Joker and Lex Luthor. That's the big hype up of this issue. This is actually a variant cover, cardstock cover by Dave Johnson, and the book is by Mark Waid and Dan Mora. The Dan Mora cover is really cool too, but I wanted to spotlight the Dave Johnson cover. So yeah, hitting that 25th issue. Book is still very good, and that's about it.
Nice. Awesome.
Yeah, I hear that title is one of the best written books right now from DC. I think that's cool how obviously Batman's got the bat silhouettes and Superman has the dove silhouettes. That's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Yep, par for the course with Johnson though. He's really clever with stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. That is nice. All right, let me ruin that niceness with some nastiness here. Rolling right along with this same theme, I was just saying, it seemed like there was a few of these in there. I like this one as well. This is the Dark Messiah trade paperback. And this is, I guess, Disturbed's take on it. And this is by Opus. So it's like that other one was Vault, and this is published by Opus. But it seems like this, and this is also written by Tim Seeley. And the artist, Angel Hernandez, on this one. And this is a collected edition. I guess all these were already out. I missed the boat on that. This is very, demonic sorcery-like, as opposed to like sword and sorcery-like. Those are different, I guess. The art looks cool. I guess I should have added some interiors on this because that's what actually got me attracted to this one. Again, right up my alley right now. And, all these cool metalheads kind of get involved in comics is kind of cool too, right, Pat?
Yeah. I know Kurt Hammett from Metallica is a big nerd too. He's a big toy collector. He's into geek stuff too. So yeah, everyone's coming out of the woodwork.
Yeah, there's actually a Metallica comic in this previews too. It didn't make the cut of my 10. I don't know exactly why. These are the only two that did, but like I said, it's like they got this banner, Myths, Monsters, and Metal, across the top of a few pages in previews. So I think there might be a couple other ones beside for Metallica as well. So check that out. But there you go. Disturbed's Dark Messiah trade paperback.
All right. I'm going to go ahead in the complete opposite direction here. My next book is Young Romance 125, and this is from DC Comics. This is a facsimile edition of it was originally published in 1963. And some interesting stuff about this. This is the first issue that DC published way back when. Issues 1 through 124 which were initially created by Joe Simon and Jack Kirby. Crestwood Publications imprint of Prize Comics published 1 through 124. They ceased to exist, so that's where DC Comics ended up publishing issues 125 to 208. There is so this is a John Romita Senior cover, and he also has 7 pages of interior artwork. So I think this is awesome. That's the facsimile cover. This is the actual cover here. If you want a nice copy of this, it's going to run you close to $100. You can get mid to low grades for, $15-20, stuff like that. But I think it's pretty neat when you look back at guys like Jack Kirby and Simon and Romita. They had a lot of work done in the romance line of comics.
Interesting. Did not know that. Did you know that, Pat?
Yeah, I knew they did a lot of stuff that you wouldn't be. Well, I guess you wouldn't be surprised to hear. All the horror, all the romance. That's what was popular back in the time. So, they had to hitch their ride to what was selling back in the day.
Yeah. Okay.
So, I ordered this book. I can't wait.
Nice.
Are you able to read the last line of the man's balloon there? Because I what?
I don't know.
Ignored.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Yeah, because I ignored you. Yep. So I think it's great to go back to see that early work from those guys that's not superhero related.
Yeah. All right, Pat.
I'm gonna hop aboard that facsimile train.
Nice.
Because DC is putting out limited collector's edition number 51. This is the Treasury edition sized reproduction of the classic Ra's al Ghul tale by Denny O'Neil and Neil Adams. I think I read this a long time ago, in maybe like a trade paperback or something. I certainly did not have the Treasury edition, and I think I'm on board for this. This is going to be $15, a little more than the $2 it originally was. And one of the cool things is there's also a foil version for $20, and I kind of envision that the foil working out really well on this cover with Raish in the background there.
Yeah, it's awesome. This is actually a crossover with us. This is actually one of mine as well.
I figured it might
really
be a popular choice.
Well, just to chime in on it, I didn't put it on mine. Well, but I'm excited about this. That's fantastic, Pat.
Did you say this is going to be in an original over? Yeah, okay. It's
yeah. Which, you know, as a collector, I'm sure you guys agree, it has its pluses and minuses. It's cool.
Right.
You know, those big Treasury editions. You know, I have a few. It's hard to store and preserve, collect easily, but if you have a bunch of them, you know, you can just kind of all group them together in some kind of comic box, and you know, it's fine. But it's one of those things, you know.
Yeah, I'm excited for that as well. I didn't read anywhere about the foil, so that's cool to hear too. And yeah, I mean, $15, like he said, a little bit more than the original $2, but then it isn't too far to 20 to get the foil. So you know, that sounds like
I know that was my thinking too. Maybe because I don't usually go in for the foils, but I have seen some cool ones, and like I said, I think this one might lend itself to be to work really well.
Yeah. All right. Up next for me. They're putting out X-Men 97. This is a limited series. And this is going to take place in between the original X-Men 97 ending and before the new X-Men 97 comes out on Disney Plus. So we'll see how that goes. I'm really, I'm a big X-Men 97 fan. I know Pat talks about how excellent it is on a regular basis as well. Right, Pat?
I do not.
Oh, I'm remembering that opposite. Oh,
Yeah.
sorry. Tyler's a big fan of this too. Mike, what have you expressed yourself one way or the other on this?
I haven't, because I really don't have an opinion. I never watched it.
Oh my God, Mike, they're so good.
Mike,
don't ask Pat.
Back in the late 90s, mid to late 90s, there were so many times off and on that we didn't have cable TV. Didn't have that. I didn't watch much TV. And then if I had to go out of my way to watch it, I just wasn't gonna.
Well, they're all on Disney Plus now, so you and Mark need to put this on your docket. I think Mark would like this a lot as well.
All right, I'll mention it to him. Right now, he's all about Percy Jackson, though.
Oh, that's a good show. I'm watching that too. Anyway, this is written by Steve Fox, and the art is done by Salva Espin. This is a Todd Knott cover, though. Yeah. Yep. So anyway, there you go, X-Men 97. And I'm actually going to cheat at another one real quick. So let me get the next picture up. Oh, wait, that's my last picture. Okay, here's the next picture. Okay, they're putting out a poster of X-Men 97 #1. I really want that poster too. That's also in the previous. You can get X-Men 97 #1 and a poster of the cover. And I'm going to get both of them, Mike.
All right.
Because I know I like these X-Men.
Yeah.
All right, what you got, Mike?
All right. Next up, I have K-List #1. This is from Silverline Comics. Comes out March 13th. The creators, Brett Larson, the writer, I've never heard of him, and Luis Szynowski, I have not heard of him as well. This cover just there's nothing really that grabs me towards about this cover. I'm not a fan of the trade dress, but what it's about is very intriguing. So in 1967, the CIA sent astronauts into space. Before they could report back, they vanished until today, when one of them crashed to Earth. His only concern was returning to where he had been all those decades. So that's a pretty cool sci-fi sounding book.
That is very cool. I agree. Sounds very familiar with something I'm watching right now, actually, too. Interesting.
Oh,
yeah.
So that's another one I'm gonna pick up. Give it a chance.
Yeah. Okay. Pat?
All right. I'm gonna shuffle here because I'm missing a picture, and that'll give me time to put the picture in when I skip this one. So let's talk about sorry.
That's okay.
This. Okay, let's just do this. I forgot to write this on my list, but it's here in my pictures. This is another artist edition. This is Chris Samnee's Black Widow with Mark Waid. This collects the first 6 issues. I can't say enough good things about Chris Samnee or Samnee. I said it both ways. I love his artwork. I could not get into this Black Widow series. And I always was going to go back and give it another chance, but I never did. But I know a lot of people did like it. I think it was like 12 issues, maybe. This collects the first 6 and $150. If you're into artist editions, I'm sure this will be a really good one because he's a really good artist. If you like his style, I know his style is not for everyone. That's definitely for me.
Do you say Samnee? Did you say Samnee because you heard it said somewhere like that? Is that like the technically correct way to say it?
I don't know. I'll have to look into that. I think I always said Samnee, but
yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm Samnee as well. So, but you know, those Care Andrews for a while
Chris,
too.
Yeah, Chris, if you're watching, drop us a line and let us know what the correct pronunciation is.
Yeah. All right. Up next for me, this is part 2 of Wolverine's Madripoor Nights. And I highlighted number 1 in the previous previews. That's a lot of PRs. But anyway, I think when I highlighted that, if you guys remember, there was that cover that was very reminiscent of X-Men 268. Remember that conversation we had in the previous preview?
Yep.
And do you also recall I said, I don't know anything about this except that cover's awesome and I love all these characters, so I'm in. Remember? I think that was my literally my quick synopsis of having it in there, if you recall. Well, there's more details on this in this previous previews, unless I just possibly Tom Glancy did in the previous one, which is obviously possible. But this is actually the untold sequel to X-Men number 268. X-Men 268 continues with shocking revelations of a mission you only thought you knew. So this is a direct sequel to actually X-Men 268. So, you know, it obviously wasn't a coincidence how cool and familiar they looked for that cover of number 1. So I'm definitely going to be grabbing each one of these.
Well, I guess the cover worked then because you made that connection
direct immediately. Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
All right. So you're getting this? You got to let me know how it is.
Definitely.
All right, man. I noticed this is. I have a lot of animals in my.
You do
in my run this time.
But this previous preview set you up for it because I noticed there was a lot of animal books when I was looking through it. Yeah,
it's funny how there are these trends of themes that run, and it's like not planned.
Yeah,
just within certain industries. Right now, it's all about the animals. So this is Man's Best number 1 from Boom, March 20th. The writer, try not to butcher these. Hold on, let me get my glasses right. Okay. Pornsak Pichetshote is the
Nice.
writer.
That sounded like you nailed it.
I hope so. Pinochet. Thank you. And then the artist is Jesse Lonergan. So basically, it's three emotional support pets living on the Starship Horizon. And then the ship crashes and the crew is captured. And these three are their owners' only hope. And they're outfitted with some crazy tech, weapons or whatever, all this stuff. So I was looking at that going, that looks very familiar. So way back when, there was a series called We Three, published in 2004, 3-issue series from Grant Morrison and Frank Quietly. The editor, this is where, and this has, these are like 3 prototype military animals that are equipped with weapons, and they're sent out to assassinate people. It's a great series. You should read it. The editor, Karen Berger, because it's Vertigo. The assistant editor, Pornsak. Say it again, Patrick.
I think it's Pinochet.
Pinochet, yeah. So the writer of this Man's Best was editor on a book that was very similar 20 years ago.
That's funny.
Well, there you go.
And it's Frank Whiteley. That's the name you mispronounced. After all that tough pronunciation you had, it's Whiteley.
Yeah, it's Quayle. I always said Quitelli, but there's no way it's Quitelli in my head.
Well, you just said quietly a minute ago.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because I'm trying to get away from saying it incorrectly. It was one of those ones where I just saw it and I didn't read it. I'm like, oh, Quitelli, because there's no way somebody would do it Quayle. And
he's Italian.
Yeah. So anyway, that might be interesting. We'll see how different it is. I mean, it's animals with weapons on them. That's awesome. I like that.
Yeah. You said you read that We Three, though? You read the We Three, Mike?
Oh, yeah, I love it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's so great.
So
I think Exceller has a set.
Yeah, I think I've seen them in there as well. I didn't know that. I might grab those to read. Did you see I made some extra boxes in Exceller for reader copies? Because as I've been going through and trying to get things together for the Whatnot show and everything, I see all these books. I'm like, man, I want to read that. I want to read that, but I don't want to take it as mine. I just want to read it. So I made a slot for readers' copies.
That's a good idea. I haven't been down there to see it. So
yeah.
So anyway, if I come across these in Exceller's collection, I'll stick them in there. If you
all right, cool.
So, did you read it, Pat?
I did, but I don't. It didn't stick with me. Obviously, I don't remember what happened there, or I don't. There's something about this series. I'm thinking maybe I missed one of the issues, and I because I didn't have it, I didn't read it. Perhaps I'll have to look into that. I do remember it for sure, but there's something about it, something weird about this. I'll have to try to jog my memory.
Well, I definitely can't wait for your review of Man's Best, Mike, to hear if, especially since you're so familiar and loved We Three, of how similar they are.
Well, it's been 20 years since I read it, so I need to dig it out.
Okay. All right, Pat.
All right. This next my next selection is sort of a group selection, and it kind of leads to sort of a rant, because we're up to on my list Distillery. Who had remember the Devil's Cut anthology, which showcased a bunch of different books, and they've been slowly rolling them out. Well, they better slow their roll. Let's just say that, because this month they have White Boat, and this is by Scott Snyder and Francesco Francavilla. These are all $9 books. This one comes out in March. I didn't, even though I thought this creative team had promise, I didn't really enjoy the short story in Devil's Cut. It kind of just left me kind of meh. But the pedigree of the creators makes me think, yeah, I kind of want to pick this up. And it's an awesome cover. Distillery's kind of showing, their wraparound covers for Distillery. So you're seeing the front and the back here. And just makes for a pretty neat cover. Nice imagery. Yeah, so this is, coming out in March, but for some reason they're doing early solicitations for more books. So this is April's Spectrograph #1, and this is by James Tinian IV and Christian Ward. Now this one I did like the short story in Devil's Cut. It was very Twilight Zone-y, and it did grab me and made me want to, find out what the heck was going on here, and made me want to read more about it. So no problems here. I was on board for this one if and when it ever showed up as a regular book. But and then we also have this for May, another early solicitation. This is The Blood Brothers' Mother, and this is by Brian Azzarello and Eduardo Risso. And now this one, this is like a Western tale, maybe some supernatural thrown in there. The artwork for this one in The Devil's Cut blew me away. I thought it was fantastic, but the story, I was like, what? I didn't get the point of the story. I may have just been missing something, because I was like, what's the point? Maybe it was just a small snippet of this book, perhaps. I just don't know. But yeah, so I think I'd be on board for this because of the creative team, the artwork, but my beef here is, why are they soliciting all 3 of these this month? And I just checked before the show. I thought sometimes they do these early solicits, and they might be in previews, but they don't actually have them up for order. All 3 of these books are up for order this month. And they're $9 books.
All right. Well, could you cut them up? Like, could you get the White Boat this month, and then get the Spectrograph next month, and then get the Blood Brothers' Mother the following month? So even though you could, if money were no object, again, get them all 3 now. Could you think they're going to be in? You think the Spectrograph and Blood Brothers' Mother are going to be in the next 2 previews as well, or previews guides?
I don't know, because a lot of times with stuff like this, I don't think they let you order it. Surely, there's no doubt about it. You can go to the store and buy these when they come out. But I'm more worried about the pre-order impact on guys like us who are, trying to get their orders in. I don't think it'll be on subsequent pre-order lists, but I could be totally wrong. I don't know. We'll see.
Well, I'm mad. I'm spitting mad for you too, then, Dag.
Well, just to add insult to injury, Gone #3 also comes out, is also solicited this month. By the way, I've read #1. I didn't review it here, but I thought it was engaging. I'm on board for it. Interesting story, cool art by Jock. This and now we do know the answer. This is a 3-issue series, at least for Gone, but also for Somna, which is also #3 this month, and this is also the last issue of Somna. So this is Becky Cloonan's book and Tula Lute's book. They split up the art duties and writing duties, and I also read issue #1 of this book, and I really liked it. It's supernatural, witchcraft horror type thing. But that's 5 books approaching, it's a $45 cover price, all in 1 month from Distillery. So previously they were doing 1 book a month, and it was perfect. They were sort of bi-monthly books, and they were spacing them out so there'd be 1 a month, but here they're dropping all 5 all at once, and I don't understand their tactics here. But I would recommend them all, I guess. So
get them if you can afford it.
Right.
Yeah, the when all this stuff was announced, I was excited for it, Distillery and all that, the creators, but the oversized books and the price kind of deterred me from even jumping on board, even with the Devil's Cut. I'm like, it's too much and too big. So
yeah,
but there are collectors for it. I think it would be cool probably not wouldn't be a smart move cost wise, but to publish it two different ways, publish it in that large size like they're doing, and then publish it in the standard comic book size. I would probably be on board for buying the standard comic book size.
Yeah, well, we'll see what happens. With now that Gone and Somna have wrapped up at least the first 3 issues. I don't know if there's gonna be further arcs of either one of these books, but it would be interesting to see their collected edition strategy. Maybe they will release them as more standard sized books. Who knows? I'm sure they'll be doing it though.
How'd you get Gone #1 already? Was that in your December shipment?
I've had Gone for #1 for a while.
Really?
Seems like I read it. I read that quite a while ago.
Oh,
No
okay.
#2 yet. No #2 yet.
Oh, okay. Because I was interested in that Gone as well, but yeah, I didn't. Like you were saying, you could probably get these distillery, but I haven't seen any of these at our store. Have you seen them, Mike?
Well,
any of the distillery books?
I've seen them. I think the Gainesville store has them, but
okay.
Nova, since they're still in that phase where they're kind of moving.
Oh, even if they would,
really
have,
don't have
it'd be hard to find. Yeah.
Yeah, they don't have the store set up correctly yet.
Okay. All right, Pat. So was that 5 of your 10 today?
I still have one more.
Okay. All right. Up next for me is a continuation of last week for me. Again, complete coincidence. If you checked out our show from last week, I reviewed the original X-Men #1. And don't be fooled by the title of this called Weapon X-Men. This is the original X-Men #2. No, I'm just kidding. So the original X-Men, if you recall from my review, was essentially a prequel to Weapon X-Men, which this is a 4-issue limited series. And on the very last page of the original X-Men, one of the versions of Wolverine was kind of whispering in Phoenix's ear, and it kind of set up the story for what Weapon X-Men is. It's basically going to have a multiverse of Logans band together and I'm assuming it's going to be because, again, talking multiverses like we were last week.
Yeah.
The Phoenix recruiting them all from different universes to fight a common foe. It's Wolverine multiplied, so I'm in multiplied, and this is a variant cover. This isn't the original cover, and I actually like this one better. Kind of reminds you of that X-Men 97, right, Pat?
I guess so, yeah.
There's a cool John Boyd Myers cover that I couldn't find. I wanted to put up as well, but anyway. Yeah, Weapon X-Men #1 4-issue limited series, continuing from original X-Men. I'll be grabbing it.
Nice.
Mike?
All right. Continuing on with the same theme, I've got Animal Warriors of the Kingdom.
Is every single one of yours an animal?
Seriously, I'm looking back through it, and no. One more.
Okay. That's funny though.
It is. So this is from Sparrow. I didn't write the whole thing down. Sparrow Toy. Yeah, anyway. So it's the great houses of the animal kingdom are in shambles. So I think it's, the houses are crumbling, so the other animals are rising up and all this. But what really initially attracted me, this cover was kind of cool, but what really caught my eye was the variant, which is an homage to the Gorillaz album. Demon Days, which Jamie Hewlett is the artist here, and I thought that was kind of cool homage to it. So that is that's all I've got for that one.
That is very cool. Yep.
Stay tuned for further information on Animal Warriors of the Kingdom in the horizon this week.
Oh, exciting teasers. Nice. Okay. All right, what you got, Pat?
My final pick for the preview this month is the Spectacular Spider-Man #1. This is a $5 book by Greg Wiseman and Humberto Ramos. The reason I picked this is because, well, first of all, I love Humberto Ramos. He's one of my favorite Spider-Man artists. This is a team up of Peter and Miles in a book together. But the writer is Greg Wiseman, who was one of the main writers, or probably maybe the writer of the Spectacular Spider-Man, the animated show, which was really good. It was canceled because of Disney and Marvel, Marvel buying, or Disney buying Marvel, and the whole Sony thing. Things didn't work out because it was a very popular show, and it got the axe, and they started a new show shortly thereafter that was not even close to the quality of this Spider-Man show. So yeah, it's kind of cool. They're giving him a chance to write a comic based on the characters, and I'm excited for it. I think it'll be a cool book, even though it seems like they're really going all out, because it seems like I didn't spotlight them obviously, but seems like there's new Spider-Man books popping up all over the place this month.
Yeah,
so.
I saw that too. Yep. Solidified my decision to step away from Spider-Man. Just too much. Hope it's all good for Spider-Man lovers, though. That's for sure. If I was a Spider-Man lover, I'd be happy as a clam. So good for them. And you, I guess, Pat. All right. So next up for me is Booster Gold. Pat, didn't you say you're a Booster Gold fan?
Yep. Back in the day, I was a pretty big Booster Gold.
Yeah, I thought maybe we'd be a crossover again on this one. You said that was your last one, so obviously it wasn't. But right. This is the complete 2007 series, book 1. And I've always liked Booster Gold in all of the animation I see him in. And I always thought he was pretty cool in general, but I have, embarrassingly enough, never read a Booster Gold. So again, if money were no object, this would be a perfect opportunity for me to pick up a bunch and dive right in and check it out. This is by Jeff Johns with art by Dan Jurgens. And yeah, that's it. Mike, have you ever read any Booster Gold?
I have not read any Booster Gold.
Yeah.
It's just one of those DC characters that never captured my attention. I know, I think, obviously Patrick's liked them, Johnny's liked them. I think New York Mike is a big fan too. So it's just strange. Yeah. Everybody else, but I'm like, man, I just never got into them.
All these people in our lives, that's probably the same reason that I was attracted to him too, because, of other people around me being into him. But yeah, he's cool. And like I said, the animation, every time I see him in animation, he's cool. So, yeah. All right, Mike.
All right. I promise this is the last one with animals. All right. This book's been around for a while. This is Monstrous. They're hitting a milestone, issue number 50.
Never heard of it. Oh, sorry. Sorry about it.
Yep. But from Marjorie Liu and Sana Takeda. And this is, they don't do variant covers for this book. I think they've done, issue number 1 and 2, I think the reprints had a couple variants, and maybe issue number 15, I think, had a variant. But other than that, it's an A cover, and that's it, which is great. You don't need any more with Takeda's artwork. She's fantastic. But issue 50, we've got the A cover plus some B covers, and they're all by Takeda. She's doing all of them. So it's just more artwork from her. That's the third one. And then the last one, we've got the front and back there. So it's just a great milestone book for them. They do, it's just a 2-person team, you know, they artwork and writing all themselves. I think it's great when a small independent team does consistently does high quality work and hits milestones like this. So
yeah, awesome stuff. Obviously gorgeous, and I went through a big reviewing stream or time with Monstrous, and I enjoyed it a lot. I stopped because because money's an object, right? So
yeah,
doesn't make the cut for me, but yeah, it's really cool, and that looks awesome. All right, Pat, you said that was your last one, right? You're done. He's like, yeah, that's why.
That's right. Yeah, I think he's taking a coffee break. He's going to go refresh his coffee since he's done.
All right, I'm going to jump on the monster train here, Mike.
Nice.
Animal.
Yeah, it's like a lean in from animals to monsters via monster.
I think this is the right pick. It's hard for me to tell because they're small, but yeah, okay, there it is. All right, actually, I've got a couple picks of this. This one might be a better one to start off with. Yeah, there we go. So this is a game from Spielcraft Games called Cretaceous Rails. And then you can see there's an expansion, Cretaceous Skies. This is the only picture I could find of a Cretaceous Rails, which is solicited in this month's preview. But apparently they have a Cretaceous Skies out, or maybe that's coming, that kind of thing. And obviously you can see the cool minis, and you can see the little trains there. And basically, I guess what happens in this is kind of a touristy worker placement game to route tourists through, the Cretaceous period to check out dinosaurs. Don't get this confused with Jurassic Park. This is not Jurassic Park. This is the opposite, Pat. I know you're thinking this is just like Jurassic Park, but it's the opposite. You're going back to the dinosaurs. We're not trying to bring dinosaurs now to make a park. We're going back in time to make a park where the dinosaurs originated.
Nice.
In this game. So, and I want to put this pick up too, because look at how many cool minis there are there too. So, and it looks like a hexagonal board system too, where you connect them as you play, which I love those kind of games. So what were we going to say, Mike?
Yeah. Is this like a mashup of like a Jurassic World or Jurassic Park type of thing with Ticket to Ride? Like you have to
maybe, right. Yeah.
A railroad. That's cool.
You're connecting the rails, right? Yep. So looks cool. Sounds fun. I'm a gamer. I want it. I would probably buy this before a few comic books I currently get. So, stay tuned. Yeah. I'm going to work out gaming reviews into Exceller somehow, regularly soon somehow. I don't know, but there you go. Cretaceous Rails. Mike?
Sweet. All right. My last actual book, and then I have a couple for the covers. So this is Crashdown number 3 of initially I think it was a 3-issue series, but now I'm seeing it possibly 4 issues, published by Whatnot or Massive, the imprint for Whatnot. Comes out March 27th, and this is from, obviously we've talked about it before, Comic Tom and Fire Guy Ryan. I absolutely love this Mike Mayhew cover. This is one of the variants, and man, it's just a fantastic cover.
What number did you say this is?
This is number 3.
Oh, okay.
So, number 1 still hasn't come out. I think that's coming out this month.
That's what I was gonna say too. Yeah, because I haven't. Because I actually did order that, and I haven't got it yet. So I can't wait to read that. Yeah. So.
Yep. So I just wanted. I mean, this is for the cover, but also for the series. I think I'm excited for those guys.
Once I read mine, I'll definitely review it for us.
Yeah.
So.
Cool. So yeah, that's my last one. I have some for the covers that we can roll through. If you guys are done.
I got one more. This is my last one. I went in the gaming direction again. And this is called, let me find my pick for this one. Explosion in the Library. Okay.
Wow.
Laboratory.
Oh, I'm sorry, laboratory. You'll understand why I said that wrong in a second here. It wasn't just because they're similar words. Jeez, yeah, nice explosion. So this is actually a sequel game, I guess you could call it, to Fire in the Library. So that's why I said it wrong. Which this is also solicited in this month's previews, but it's the second edition of this that's solicited in previous preview. So second edition of Fire in the Library, and then Explosion in the Laboratory comes out. Basically, this is a game where, and actually, I'm going to have to defer again to what I've read about Fire in the Library because it makes sense. So in Fire in the Library, you're basically trying to put out fires in a library to save books. So I don't exactly know how that will correlate to explosions in a laboratory. Karen Marie, come on.
No, keep going. I love it.
But I'm assuming it's going to be something similar in the way that you have to figure out what chemicals are being combined, causing explosions to stop the explosions. Because, like
maybe
I said, sorry, what might
maybe you failed to put out the fires in the library and it made its way over to the laboratory. So now things are exploding because it's on fire.
Could be. Yep, that could be. So yeah. So Fire in the Laboratory, or Fire in the Library, second edition, and Explosions in the Laboratory, first edition, are my final previews picks.
Awesome. All right. These are for the covers. I mean, I'm sure they're worth getting as well for the story. But so Green Arrow number 10. I'll make sure is that number 10 there? I think so. Yeah. This is Jorge Fornes did this, comes out March 26th. I absolutely love that. We just follow the arrow to the target. I think it's just great. It kind of reminds me of the way Bruno Redondo does his covers. Very unique. So this one's cool. But also, in looking at this one, I found issue number 9 from Dustin Wynn, and this comes out February 27th. And this one's just great too. Really great take on Green Arrow. So get those two for the covers at the very least.
Yeah, awesome.
Yep. Next up for the cover is Edge of Spider-Verse number 2. This comes out March 27th, and it's from Chad Hardin. I love, mostly I like the way he has drawn the kids there. I think that's it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is very cool. Is this Edge of Spider-Verse volume 3? Is this volume 3?
3, 4, 5. I don't even know at this point. It should be called Another Edge of the Spider-Verse.
Yeah.
Like,
yep.
And
that's
lastly,
cool.
To wrap things up, and this one is for our friend Johnny, who loves Reflections, as do we. Star Wars number 45, Steven Segovia. This comes out. This is actually April 3rd, but it's solicited now. I think it's a great reflection of Boba Fett in the Stormtrooper's face.
Yeah, that is very cool. Boba and Lando. Yep.
So, yeah. So there you go. That's what you have coming in. Get it all. You know what we should do is try to price each thing and add up how much. Because let's just add more work for ourselves. If they bought everything we suggested, how much is that going to cost them?
Mike, I love it. Pat, are you in? Oh, because all we
Sure.
got to do is keep track of what the ones we want cost, and then we can before the show starts get a total and say you can get all of these items we highlighted for the low price of $4,326. Well, I think me and Pat had a couple $100 books there.
Yeah, Pat had a couple 150s.
Yeah. So anyway, awesome though. Once again, I love it. Great job, guys. And I just wanted to throw this up real quick before we get into our regular segments. We are officially live on Instagram, and it's actually working. I can't see how the viewers are or anything there. We got a couple people. Shout out to Kenneth and EPK Comics, and Lexi's also checking us out on Instagram. First week, Instagram is operational, so that's exciting, right?
It is.
Seems like it's on like about a 10-second delay, so that's cool. That's cool. So if we have any major debauchery going on, we can just close the show immediately, and they'll never see it on Instagram. All right, so we ready to get to our regular stuff?
Yep.
All right, cool. Let's start with me. Okay. So a couple short notes. Well, actually, only one short note, and then a couple bigger notes. But first off, I finished the second half, a little bit more than half. It's 9 episodes, so I watched 4 and talked about how awesome it was. What If season 2 on Disney Plus. And like I said, I reviewed the first 4 episodes last week, and man, I loved it. I was digging it. So I just wanted to cover the last 5 episodes this week. I think, Pat, you mentioned that you thought episode 5 was probably your favorite, where Captain Carter fights the Hydra Stomper, which is Steve Rogers, right? You said that was your favorite one of the season, you think?
Probably. I still haven't seen the last one yet, but yeah.
Oh, you haven't? Okay. You don't care if I spoil it a little bit for you here? Well, I'm not really going to spoil it because I don't have a whole lot to say except this. Mike, are you ready?
Ready.
The second half of this season 2 was an atrocity. Man, I could not. Well, I'm okay. I like to bloviate a little bit, but okay. So let's bring it back down to earth a little bit. Okay, so I was extremely disappointed with the second half of the season. I think episode 10 or 9 is the worst of the episodes. Oh my God, it's so insanely. I like to use the word convoluted a lot. It's like, oh man, it's. I want to hear I want to hear your take on it when you check it out, Pat. I'm sure my glowing review here is going to make you rush to check it out even quicker now. But man, episode 9 was so horrible. I thought the episode that you said your favorite with Captain Carter and the Stomper, which was episode 5, was okay. Wasn't bad. I'm never a big fan of when Steve Rogers, Captain America, even if he's brainwashed or whatever the case may be, to where he's playing the villain. I'm not a fan of that in general. So, it takes me a little bit to get past that, but the episode was okay. And then, man, I love the art of all of this. The animation for all of these are great, which makes me even I think it actually adds to the bitterness when I think something is garbage in general. you know, and I guess again, I wouldn't say these are garbage. My favorite one of the second half was the 1602 one where the Avengers assembled in 1602. Did you like that one, Pat?
I thought it was okay.
I thought it was a pretty interesting take. Did you know that was a comic book before as well? Did you read that?
Yeah, I have it, but I never read it. It's Neil Gaiman. It's just
Yeah,
one of the things that didn't. I don't know. I just never felt the urge to read it. It's just something about it. I think it was the artwork, actually.
okay. Well, it was pretty fun. It was one that didn't take itself seriously too much. A lot of tongue-in-cheek humor throughout the whole thing. And, you know, what are you watching a cartoon for? If you aren't watching it to, you know, chuckle a little bit, that's what I say, you know, at least right now during this show. But yeah, again, I give the first 4 episodes mostly 2, 3, and 4. One was just okay to me, but 2, 3, and 4 were solid 8s. And then I'd say, you know, 1 was like maybe a 7, and then 6, 7, 8, probably 6s. Then that last one, man, I'm gonna give that like a 3 or a 4, man. It was so bad in my opinion. It's like they're just giving up on trying to write quality and just trying to be fantastic. You know what I mean? That's the best way I can describe it. You know, I've talked many times about how you guys are better at describing this stuff, but yeah, it's for lack of a better way to describe it. That's what I'm going with. So, you know, What If season 2? Check out if you want to see the good ones, in my opinion, 2, 3, 4, and 8. The rest are, you know, take it or leave it. I don't think you're missing anything. So. Then I got to Monarch Legacy of Monsters on Apple TV. Mike, where are you?
Same place I was last week.
Daggum.
I've made no progress. And I blame my wife because, you know, we're watching the other shows.
So I just need to text her about how much she needs to see Monarch and you'll get on it.
Well, if I'm watching it, she'll kind of, oh, are you watching your Godzilla movie again? Like,
Well, I'll bet you a dime to a dollar that she would love Monarch too. Actually, I'm serious. I'm gonna text her. Yeah,
I think she probably would.
yeah.
Yep. And I need to rewatch it all anyway because it's fun.
And because it doesn't lean in on the monster so much. It's more about the Monarch story, which I think you know, I think Emily would really find interesting. But do you guys remember what I said last week about this week was the finale, episode 10?
Did they stick the landing? That's the question, right?
That is the question. And what I'm going to say.
I can't hear. I can't listen. Okay.
Is they not only stuck the landing, it was a perfect 10 in my opinion.
Oh, nice.
Amazing.
Good.
All right, I'm bloviating again. It's maybe not a perfect 10. I'll give it a solid 8.5, leaning into a 9 bags of popcorn, though. It was definitely excellent. And Mike, I'm telling you, I'm going to canvas so hard this week to Emily to get this on her watch list if that's what you need to get watching it. Because I'm telling you, Mike, and this is not bloviating. I'm literally meaning this. When you watch this entire series with the payoff in episode 10, this might be your favorite monster show of all time.
Oh, that's awesome.
It is ridiculous in multiple levels. The only thing I'll really give out as a spoiler regarding this episode in general is this poster. This scene on this poster happens in episode 10.
Ah, good.
Which
That's
is
cool.
Yeah, it's so cool. It is so cool. I love it. As you can imagine, There's a humongous, awesome cliffhanger for season 2. And man, I am going to be so bitter if, what's that other horrible show I don't like, Pat, that I've been reviewing? Man, what was it called? Oh man, I wish I could remember right now. The space one where it focuses on a mother and her kids and a Japanese scientist and
Invasion.
Invasion. Yeah. If this show doesn't get a second, I don't know, maybe it already has. But if it wouldn't get a second season when Invasion just got a third season, I just read Invasion got picked up for another season. Man, there's nothing sacred, I swear. This is so good. If you are a Godzilla fan, or even if you aren't a Godzilla or Monsterverse in general fan, but you just like a quality sci-fi story that's written well and acted well with great actors and actresses, man, check out Monarch Legacy of Monsters on Apple Plus. Really good stuff. So
that's good. I'm texting Emily right now, telling her that we need to get Monarch. I need to get her into watching Monarch.
Awesome. All right, so we started out What If season 1, really good. I mean, What If season 2, the first 4 episodes are pretty good, and then the last episode's disappointing. Monarch's amazing. Let's get into my super hot take of the week on Echo. The full season, which is only 5 episodes, I believe. Pat, are you watching? Did you watch this?
Seen the first 3.
Yeah, I think it's only 5 episodes, right?
Correct. Yep.
Very short season, but Echo on Disney Plus, taken from the pages of Daredevil and from the, how should I say this, Pat? The visual video of Hawkeye from Disney Plus's Hawkeye series. We have
real quick. I
that?
really want to hear this review. I've got to go take care of some stuff. I'll be back in like 10 minutes. Unfortunately, I got to do this.
Okay.
All right. I got to set something up.
All right, cool. No problem. He ain't gonna hear the review though, Pat. Anyway, did you watch? You said you watched the first 3 episodes.
Correct. Yeah.
I'm dying to hear what you have to say about this first.
I like it so far. It reminds me of the Netflix shows. Even so far as the theme song, it just seems like it would fit right in with the Netflix shows.
Yeah.
I was pleasantly surprised about the first episode. I wasn't expecting certain people to be in that episode, even though I had seen previews. I didn't think they'd be in the first episode, and I thought that was really cool.
Okay.
It may end up being bogged down a little bit too much in small town hijinks, and I'm not really that thrilled with that part of it. But so far, I'm okay, and I think I like the character of Echo. I like the actress. I think she's engaging, and I appreciate the fact that they've put so much effort into doing all the sign language, because I feel like it engages you within the show a little bit more than it normally might. But yeah, it kind of comes to like what you always say about sticking the landing, and I don't know how it'll finish up in these next 2 episodes.
Okay, well, excuse me. I probably couldn't be more on the opposite side of the fence on you on this one. Man, I thought episode 1 was okay, and I agree with it's very Netflixy, kind of fits in that Netflix universe, which with Daredevil in it and Kingpin, and obviously all that crossing over with the MCU on Disney Plus and all that. I thought it was pretty much a perfect fit, and episode 1 was pretty much kind of a recap as to how we got to where we are. Well, it was kind of a recap plus also a brief prequel explanation of where we are, because only part of where we are did we get from Hawkeye, and then of course mixing in some Daredevil, but then also some Indian events, Native American events that took place that we didn't see anywhere else. That kind of explains how we got partially to where we are, which I'm not familiar with Echo from the comics at all. So let me ask you this real quick. Would you say what you've seen in the first 3 episodes kind of follows along with the comics iteration of Echo, or what?
A little bit. I wish, I can't. I have to go back and watch Hawkeye. I don't know if they really explained her like sort of mimic powers, where she's sort of like the Taskmaster, where she can anything she watches, she can immediately adapt and do whatever she sees. She's sort of like the Taskmaster. But the mysticism, the Native American part of it, I know David Mack, who's the co-creator, did a lot of imagery that sort of went in that direction, but I don't recall there being so much of an actual, backstory that we're getting here in the show, which I think may put some people off. I'm not exactly sure where I'm at on that myself. So,
okay, well, it's definitely putting me off because it's not making a whole lot of sense to me. And yeah, that the kind of Taskmaster-y kind of abilities isn't coming across to me either, as far as I could tell. And I think I watched the first 3 episodes, and then I was suffering greatly through episode 3, that I just I decided to just go to the end and see if there's anything that I needed to know for future projects, and essentially from what I got from the end, there wasn't anything I needed to know for future projects either that could possibly, like a cliffhanger type of thing that, obviously Marvel loves to do. Yeah, I didn't get really any abilities, I guess, and I guess she feels people's heartbeats to kind of anticipate their movements or actions or whatever. That's all I got of her abilities from what I saw in the first 3 episodes, which I assumed maybe in episode 4 and 5, they get into it more with the Native American, mysticism stuff that maybe helps her with abilities or whatever. But I thought it was kind of ironic that in that one fight to where she first starts working for Kingpin, where she essentially hears heartbeats, which I thought was ironic with her being deaf, but without kind of an explanation or better explanation. And maybe that's what it is. Maybe there's something I'm missing that isn't being explained in a way that I need it to really track with. Right now, it just seems like she's a bitter daughter of a bad guy, a guy that was into bad things, that is vengeful. That's where I am with episode 3. And as far as the sign language and the subtitles and everything, it didn't connect me to it more at all. It really took me out of it. And then again, like I said, I don't know if we've ever been on different sides of the fence of the same show as this one, because also too, I thought she was horrible. I thought she had the same exact expression through the entire show. I felt like she just had this angry expression through the entire show. I mean, there was like 1 or 2 moments I was even expecting her to kind of bust out of her shell, especially when she meets her buddy. I can't even remember what's his name, Pickles or something like that. Her old cousin. Biscuits. Her cousin from her, like you said, small town where she grew up. And he was pretty entertaining, personable character. And I thought there was going to be a couple moments where she was going to break character, for lack of a better way to describe it, break this ominous, angry, angsty, vengeful personality to kind of break a smile. And even when they kind of did that, it was very impersonal, or I don't know what the words I'm trying to say isn't exactly, but it didn't show much personality in it at all. I thought, man, this was just super boring to me. And it was so boring to me that I think that since the show was so boring, that's what made the subtitle and the sign language a little bit more insufferable for me. Like if I thought the rest of it was good, like I can definitely appreciate that's really cool when they go to those efforts in a show, but I thought it was a big fail. And then ironically enough, I read some reviews after. That's what I kind of do once I form an opinion. Obviously, like, I like to hear yours on here, even when it disagrees with me. When I form an opinion on a show or a movie or whatever, then I'll go to the reviews and see if I'm crazy, and lots of times I apparently am. But this one kind of had mixed reviews. It seemed like I'm kind of on the side of the majority in this one. But there were some that liked it, like you. And I guess, I don't know whether, did you check out any reviews yet? Besides mine?
Mhm.
Because they talk about how action packed it gets later in this season, which it's kind of ironic with a 5-episode season, but,
Right.
But maybe in 4. And like I said, when I say I went to the end, I'm not saying I went to episode 5. I went to like the last 2 minutes of the episode and just watched it to see if there's anything I'm missing. And here's the other thing too. The predictability of this is hardcore too, right? I mean, I watched the last 2 minutes, and when I watched the last 2 minutes, I was like, yep, that's exactly what I figured would have happened here, and like I said, no cliffhanger. There's just no interest there, except for, like I said, when I read the reviews, they said it gets more action later in the season, kind of a slow roll getting rolling. But then when it gets there, it's just action packed. And I'm like, okay, and do I believe that? And do I check out 4 and 5 maybe when I'm in a better mood about it or something? I don't know, but I can't imagine ever going back to check out 4 and 5 in their entirety. But man, yeah, in my opinion, I'm going to give this, I'm going to give this 3 bags of popcorn. I really couldn't take this at all. And is she supposed to be a regular in the future with Daredevil or anything? Have you heard anything on that?
No, I haven't really heard anything.
All right. So it made me a little sad. I wanted to. Wasn't she a cool card in Marvel Snap too?
I don't even know if I ever got to her.
Okay. I think she was too. So I don't know a whole lot about her. I think that was the only place that I would have dealt with her at all, to where I would have been excited about this at all, which I was, or maybe talking to you and knowing the connection to Daredevil too. Daredevil was pretty cool on there, stopping by for a minute. It was a pretty good representation of him. That was kind of exciting. But
yeah, the only beef I had with that was like, why did he just leave?
I was thinking, that's funny you say that, because I was talking to Ayla about it, because that's the only reason she was excited about it, because she loves Daredevil, and specifically that actor playing Daredevil. So hearing he was going to be on it, she wanted to check it out, and then I guess she hasn't been in the mood to check out a new show lately, so she just asked me about it. And that was the one thing I said about it, is he literally walks in and gets mad at her for, messing up his stakeout or whatever you want to call it, and then goes to town trying to beat her up, which I thought wasn't very Daredevil-y. It's like, how many times have we seen not only Daredevil in general, but this iteration of Daredevil, especially, where people try to fight him and he kind of he defends himself, of course, but doesn't attack, while he's trying to talk them out of chilling out, or talk them into chilling out, He just went to town with her in this one. He's just like attacking like crazy. And then, yeah, I thought it was ironic how when he first comes in there, he goes through this monologue about how she ruined everything, which would have been a perfect exit stage left for him. But then he pursues a fight with her. They get in a big fight, and then when she turns away and grabs a shotgun and turns back, he's just gone. It's like, wait, hold on a second. You could have done that 10 minutes ago before this fight. It just, it didn't play out. And that's actually one of the things that made me I'm shaking my head. It's so add all these things together and just kind of wrecked Echo for me. Mike, I gave Echo.
What I miss?
You missed Echo's 3 bags of popcorn.
That many, huh?
I didn't echo his review, but I haven't finished the series yet.
Oh, okay. I tried to read the Daredevil Echo miniseries that came out long ago.
Yeah.
I couldn't get through issue 1. I was struggling. I don't know.
Did you read it, Pat? Did you read that series?
I don't know. Is it like a recent?
Yeah,
recent
it was.
Yeah,
it was.
It's literally called Daredevil and Echo, I think, right?
Yeah, I didn't.
I think it was 4 issues, something like that. And I tried reading it. I was like, man, this is just what a struggle. I should have.
Sounds like it was the show in its entirety.
That's what they did. They're like, you know what? Let's go ahead and take this here miniseries and make it into a show.
But Pat is he's a nice guy about it, so he's he didn't give it a glowing review, but he's watched the first 3 episodes and said it's okay, see where it goes. You're right, Pat, kind of. That's where you're at.
Yeah, that's where I'm at.
Now I'm not, I didn't read the Daredevil work. I haven't read her outside of that half an issue. Does she only have in the book? Does she only have like 1 leg? Does he have a prosthetic leg in the book as well?
I should have checked that out because I was trying to remember that myself. I don't recall that, but I could be wrong.
I don't recall ever in any of the artwork or anything I've ever seen her. I don't recall seeing that at all. So it would be just an odd thing to add in the TV show for whatever reason. So I'm sure they'll write it into the story, but it's kind of like
so a mixed bag for what Kevin watched today. Excellence in Monarch, in my opinion. Insufferable in Echo, in my opinion.
Insufferable.
And a mixed bag in What If season 2, in my opinion. So take it or leave it. That's what you get from what Kevin watched today.
Unless the actress only has 1 leg, and then they would kind of work that into the show. That would make sense.
Yeah. I don't know.
So I can see that. That would make sense to me.
That would make sense to me too. Yep.
So awesome.
All right. You ready for the spotlight, Mike?
Yeah, I've been waiting.
Okay. All right.
All right. Let's do this.
Let's get into some werewolves.
All righty. Are there more werewolves on here?
That was my first note of this week. Pat, did you note that as well?
Yeah, a lot of doggish, wolfish, baddish type people going on. Yeah.
It is strange how the world works. None of this is on purpose.
All right, Mike. Sorry. Go ahead.
But I love it. All right. We'll start off with Cobra Commander #1, David Aja, G.I. Joe 303, Andy Kubert, Cap Wolf and the Howling Commandos #4, Ryan Brown, Nightwing 110, Dan Mora, Superman #10, Lee Bermejo, World's Finest 23, Sebastian Fiumara, the Prism #4, the Blondie homage from Brent McKee, Avengers Twilight #1, Frank Miller, Miguel O'Hara, Spider-Man 2099 #3 from Nick Bradshaw, and Wonder Woman #5, Daniel Samperi. Sorry.
Nice.
So I have a couple of things to say about these, but you guys want to go first?
Well, I was going to ask the first question is how's New York feel about these?
3 for 3.
Nice.
3 votes.
Endorsed by the great state/city of New York. Okay.
Yep.
That's all I have, Pat. Did you have anything to start with?
I would say that I really liked 4 of them, but didn't like the rest of them.
Okay.
That's fair. That's fair.
I'm gonna go with there's only 2 of them I don't like. Again, that's usually how it works out. There's about 2 that aren't in the running for me, and then everything else is kind of in the running, and it's a tough pick for me. So,
yep.
All right, Mike.
Yeah, the Prism, I put that on there because I really like that Blondie record, and then when I saw that, that's when I saw the other one. So I did a post on the Exceller page, which I'm sure you've all seen.
Yeah,
so
that was a cool post. I like that a lot. Yep.
So that the kind of seeing it here, that's what sparked that idea. I really love I like negative space artwork, and I think it was perfectly done on that Wonder Woman where they, mix the negative space with just a traditional cover. So I thought that was really cool.
Karen agrees, and I thought that was interesting too, kind of having a non-negative space with a negative space cover. Yeah, it's a new interesting thing. I didn't know exactly what to thought about it, but it was in the running for me, or think about it. Yeah.
And once again, the old train, the woman tied to the train tracks, the hero saving her, Libra Mayo. I mean, geez, that guy's just amazing. And I love Westerns. I love the trains and all that. So that one was really great for me. So
I've got one thing to say about that one real quick.
Yeah.
You know what would have made that better for me? If just one thing was different on it, it probably would have made my 3.
What's that?
If it was like from the perspective like 100 feet further back, because that is way too close to that girl with Superman still struggling to that extent for him to possibly start it before he actually runs her over. Right, Pat?
It's funny, Kevin, because it was my 4th, and the one I had to knock off my list. And the reason I knocked it off is because I thought Superman was struggling too hard.
Yeah, that was also a thought too.
Yeah, I guess he's Superman, not Spider-Man, right?
Right.
Exactly. Mike.
Oh, well, dang it, I hate that book. Hold on.
But the art is beautiful. It's just lacking a couple keynotes in the presentation there, I think, or whatever,
Well, he had to kind of get you on the edge of your seat.
Right.
It's like, oh my gosh, he's gonna do it. Superman, of course he's gonna.
Right.
And then right. Frank Miller did a run of variants, and some of them, a lot of people were pretty harsh towards it. I think he's always kind of pushing his style, new areas. And this one, I thought, I wasn't sure if it was the colors that made it really appealing. Because I do like everything except for his left arm, just the way that shoulder is and stuff. But I really liked it because of the colors and everything but that left arm. So I wanted to kind of give a nod to Frank Miller, and I think he still has it. I'm not real harsh on him like a lot of people were.
Yeah.
Valor was like, "Is this just the Dark Knight cover?"
Yeah.
Again, I said, "Yeah, it's funny enough. It's the same artist, and yeah,
same colors. There's lightning.
And his back's to you, just like the original."
Interesting. Yeah. All right, Mike, who won?
All right, let's get to 3rd place, which we didn't even talk about it here. We've got Nightwing 110, Dan Mora.
Nice.
So that's not Capwolf, that's Batwolf.
That's awesome. Yeah, I didn't know what to think of that. Yeah, it's a werewolf Batman, right? Yeah, I didn't even think of that. Batwolf, Capwolf, all in the same time frame. That's interesting. Are you reading Nightwing right now, Mike, to know what the deal is there?
No, actually, I stopped getting Nightwing.
Yeah,
but I think there was that Beast War thing or whatever. Is Beast Boy and all that. I don't know if that has a tie into this.
I don't know. Yeah.
If you didn't stop reading Nightwing by now, I happened to read the solicitation because we were doing preview for Nightwing this month, and it was like, what's wrong with Nightwing? He's lost the ability to leap.
What?
I was like, boy.
Yeah,
that's like his best ability.
Great, he walks everywhere.
Yeah.
By the last page of the book, he'll get there. So anyway, Dan Morris still doing a great job.
That's still a cool cover. Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
And I think the reason I kept getting Nightwing was Redondo's artwork.
The covers, He's doing the artwork too. Yeah,
he was doing interiors too. And I was like, man, this is well worth it. But anyway, next up, and this really surprised me that it made the top 3. I didn't mention it as I was talking about it, but it almost didn't even make the 10. But I went back, and after having thought about it more, I added it. We've got the Avengers Twilight #1 from Frank Miller.
Wow.
I was surprised as well. Yeah. My whole house voted for this. And every time, every single one of them told me about it, I was like, what? Wow. Okay, cool.
Well, your house and my house.
There you go. How about your house, Pat?
Yep. Balor voted for it.
Yep. So, yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, appealing to the younger audience. That's what you got to do to keep getting work.
Yeah.
All right. Good for Frank.
Oh, boy, that cover. It's so messed up. You the line you get on the middle of his back is the middle of his back, the line through the star, and yet there's his right leg.
Yes.
Twisted.
Yes, his back and his leg, and then when you combine his, like Mike was saying, his left arm coming out the way it's coming out, it's literally like he jumped and the lightning hit him and completely crippled, deformed him into this weird shape. I don't know.
Good thing he has the super soldier serum, or else it would have been even worse. Because
yeah.
All right, this may have worked better as a silhouette with like the big white star.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
But even that too, I don't think his shield is right. There should be one more ring in his shield.
Yeah.
Hey, but I thought that exact same thing when comparing it to the Dark Knight cover. I was thinking we should just black this out and see if it works.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, if you black out the shield completely too, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. Oh well, but hey, the people have spoken. It's the second best cover coming out this week.
Yep. All right, and Aaron really hates Frank Miller right now, or just this cover, not. And here we go with #1. I thought this was really awesome. Long lead. It's World's Finest, #23, Sebastian Fiormara.
Nice.
There you have it. Jeez. All right. It wasn't Wonder Woman. Karen voted 3 times for Wonder Woman.
I did not pick this one either. Pat, did you pick this one?
Nope.
All right. Here's my problem with this one, Mike. You want to know?
Sure, of course.
So Superman is so crisp and clear and well defined. I love Superman in this. Mm-hmm. But then Batman's it's like an animation still behind him. It's like, it's like 2 different artists almost. I mean, obviously it's not, but I'm just saying, it's like, I thought the realistic nature of the art for Superman was totally contrasting for me to the art that Batman Beyond was. I'm assuming that's Batman Beyond, right?
Nah, that's Bruce. This is Kingdom Come, Batman, and Superman.
Oh, okay. I thought it was Batman Beyond because the red.
I think it is too. I think I think Batman looks great.
Yeah, I don't see what you're seeing there, Kevin. But yeah, there's just some I like his artwork, but this just didn't do it for me.
Then again, I voted for the Frank Miller Captain America there too. So
Did you? Did you vote for this one too, Mike?
Yeah.
This was the first week ever that I did not vote one cover the same as everyone else in my house. Not one. And none of my covers made the top 3 at all either.
But the rest of your family did.
Yes.
Amazing.
They're movers and shakers. They make things happen.
Put up the 10 again, please.
Yeah. Well, no, I got to back. I was looking at enlarged everything to look at that Batman. So I gotta find everything again.
I think what I vote for, I voted for Wonder Woman.
G.I.
I really
Joe.
like that G.I. Joe. Yeah.
I was surprised G.I. Joe didn't get more. I like that one a lot too.
And I think I voted for Catwolf as well.
Yeah.
Which I almost didn't vote for the Catwolf. I almost voted for the Batwolf because I thought the Catwolf was too similar to number 1. This is number 3 of Catwolf, right?
4. That's the last issue.
4. It's extremely similar to the variant for number 1, isn't it?
No, the variant was Gary Frank, but I think it's very similar to 1.
Okay, just the A cover for number 1.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, let me look it up. That would be crazy because if they actually had the wrong cover. Oh no, number 1 is it's way different. Oh, here, let me get rid of that. Not way different, but different enough. Make me big there.
That's not way different. That's extremely similar.
I know. I was making a joke.
Okay, cool. Okay. All right, so I'm not crazy. And the 2 that I didn't weren't running for me was the Prism and Cobra Commander.
Yeah, I figured Prism wasn't going to get much, and You're Not Alone. It got 0 votes.
Oh, nice. I like that kind of addition, throwing it in there, Mike. That's good stuff.
Well, that's what, the Avengers Twilight with Frank Miller. I was like, man, we'll be lucky to get my vote on that one.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's just like boom, boom, boom. Holy cow! So it's cool.
Yeah.
Oh, I got numbers. I didn't even do my stuff. So yeah, this 445 covers I chose from, and I've got some stats here. Marvel had 104 covers covering 18 titles. So that's 5.77 covers per title.
Jeez.
DC had 57 covers with 12 titles. Image had 42 books, 15 titles. Dynamite, this one's crazy. 22 covers with 4 titles. I'm sorry, 23. Boom had 22 covers with 5 titles, and Titan had 15 covers, 3 titles.
Seems like they're all around that 5 marker then, huh?
Yeah, Marvel's 5.77, DC's 4.75, Image was 2.8, Dynamite 5.75, Boom 4.4, and Titan 5.
And I'd love to see the numbers on that. Apparently the covers, so many people we know firsthand just buy them for the covers. I read these books.
So there you have it.
People just spend all their money on the covers, and then they can write trash stories and keep writing them because people keep buying them because of awesome covers, which, whatever we need to kind of keep things going, because we're always going to get some good with the bad anyway. But yeah, it seems crazy to have so many covers of each book, and they all make money, Well, hopefully, obviously that's their plan, so.
Yep.
Anyway, great work again this week, Mike.
Thanks.
right, ready to talk about what we read then?
Yep.
Oh, look, I don't have to switch anybody. You're first, Mike. You ready?
No, I didn't get to read it.
You're still in the spotlight. Okay, we'll hear about it in a second. You didn't get to read what, Mike?
Nothing. Double negative. I didn't get to read anything.
I think that's 2 weeks in a row for you.
Well, last week I did a review.
I think that's 2 out of the last 3 weeks for you.
Maybe. I don't know.
Shame. As I'm just criticizing people, I was criticizing Mike. Sorry, Mike. Yeah, everybody knows we're busy. It's tough. It's tough, definitely. Pat, did you make progress in that pile of comics that you're hoping not to be killed by your bed?
I did make some progress.
Awesome.
And I fully intended to talk about a certain book, but the last issue did not arrive in my shipment this month. So I'm going to hold off on that one, and we're going to go to something a little lesser, not as exciting. And that is the follow-up on Marvel Superheroes Secret Wars Battle World #2. This is by Tom DeFalco and Patrick Olaf.
The question everyone wants to know is, did you find the 2 panels that this takes place in between yet?
Yeah, it was right in the first issue. I could, but I didn't think to go back and grab that for a screen grab.
I wish I would have thought about it too, because I want to see those 2 panels, like literally, and put in a little arrow saying this story takes place here. Anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, but that's sort of, you can sum it up, the sort of the overall happiness I have with this book is it could have taken place between 2 panels, because there's not much here. This issue continues to put these two unknown characters. We still don't know who they are. They're 2 characters that they talk back and forth, and they sort of comment on what's going on in the book, and they were unhappy with the Beyonder and how he handled things. But they continue to put Spider-Man through his paces. In this issue, they add even more toy-based characters into the mix. We get Baron Zemo, Constrictor, Electro, Daredevil, Falcon, and Iceman. Now we've seen all of the produced figures that were not in the original Secret Wars comic book have made an appearance in this book.
Nice. That's good.
And this whole issue comes down to, there's not a lot happening here. It's just a lot of back and forth, introducing the characters who really don't really need introductions. You know who they are. You know their motives. But it basically comes down to these 2 unknown figures. They go to the villain team, and they pose as the Beyonder again, because, well, the Absorbing Man, he's from the original series. He was confronted with the Beyonder's original message to pit the heroes versus the villains. So these 2 unknown characters, one of them poses as the Beyonder and gives them a message and tells them that they need to eliminate the heroes, kill the heroes, or they're going to wipe out all of humanity throughout the entire multiverse. So that's basically it. The whole thing is they want to see how Spider-Man reacts to this. The whole gist seems to be on Spider-Man. They want to know how Spider-Man will come through these trials and tribulations. So there's, like I said, there's not much to this. It's unfortunate. Unless you are a big Secret Wars fan, and that's the comic and the toy line, because like I've said, they really are doing a deep dive on the toy line. I'll go back and backtrack a little bit here. So far as these 2 unknown characters, they're sort of looking through. You sort of see their point of view, and they have like these monitors around the heroes and villains, and the monitors look like the shields from the toy line. Like the villains have squares, and the heroes have circles,
which is cool. That's cool.
Which is cool. I do appreciate everything they've done to try to sort of retcon the old toy line into, and put in the missing pieces to the original series. But if you weren't a big Secret Wars fan, again, of the comic or the toy line, by issue 2, I am solidly in the forget it camp. Certainly, at this point, jumping on number 2 would be entirely pointless. You might at least wait for the trade paperback and read all this in one sitting, because it surely isn't going to take you that long to read all 4 issues. And maybe get a complete story out of this. How it ends, I don't know. I have 3 and 4 ordered. So we'll see, but there's just not much meat on the bones here, not a very interesting story. But I do, like I said, I do appreciate trying to integrate the toy line, but it's just not enough.
Okay, well, that's a little disappointing, but yeah, that's can't win them all.
Right. The artwork's very good, by the way. It's still solid by Patrick Olive.
All right, you got another one?
I do not.
All right, I got around to reading something that, you know how it works. You got your stack and you forget what's in there. And then as soon as I looked at it, I'm like, oh man, I totally wanted to read this a couple weeks ago to read. Now I've got the next one already, but I read Predator versus Wolverine number 2, which I reviewed number 1 on here. And I'm really liking this story a lot. I'm a Predator fan already. But this is by Benjamin Piercy and Ken Lashley. And basically, the way this story is told is cool to begin with, where we're actually the beginning of the books. This happened in issue 1 and 2. I'm assuming it's probably going to happen in all 4. I think this is only a 4-issue limited series, where we're kind of the beginning of it. We're seeing Wolverine in a battle with Predator. And while he's battling Predator, he's reminiscing on the past. And then it seems as if each issue, because the first 2 are this way, the second half or the last 3 quarters of the book focus on a certain time period in Wolverine's life for when he had a run-in with the Predator before. So it's kind of interesting how, it's kind of dual similar stories happening the same time in each book, with one story connecting each book, and each book also having its own separate standalone story, which I think is really cool. Kind of getting multiple books in one book is always awesome, as long as they're good. And these are definitely good. The art is great. Obviously, I'm a big Wolverine fan. This is classic Wolverine, slice and dice them up. Getting his butt kicked regularly so he can prove how awesome his healing power is, and in issue 1, the last panel was showing the team that is kind of a mercenary team that Wolverine is in Colombia, sent there by the government to take out this corrupt general. And this is pre-Weapon X. You can kind of see, this is pre-Weapon X, but I didn't even realize till I'm looking at the cover that they've got him with metal blades or metal claws there. But this is a, pre-adamantium fusion story in this one. And, Sabretooth is in this. A few other characters we're familiar with already. And they're fighting multiple Predators. There's like a dozen Predators in this, trying to take them out, and they ultimately end up teaming up with the corrupt Colombian general and his army to finally finish the fight. And then they also make note in this that the mercenary group that Wolverine's a part of, and this is kind of classic. They've talked about this before with Wolverine. They kind of erase their memories so that they, what's it? Something about deniability. What's the word? Phrase I'm looking for? Where they can just, since they don't know it, they can act like they don't. They if they're ever questioned, they wouldn't know anything anyway. Essentially, so anyway, and that's what happens in this issue. At the end of this issue, we're set up for issue number 3, which takes place during Weapon X. During his transition and adamantium fusion and everything like that, Predator shows up, and it seems like it's intentional. Predator is really bitter at Wolverine at this point because he actually has beat Predators twice, even though he doesn't remember any of it. So Predator kind of comes to the Weapon X time period for the next fight in issue number 3. So if you like Predator and you like Wolverine, you're going to love this. This is a must-have, and I definitely recommend this as a solid get it for everyone. Very interesting. Love the art. Very adult, though. Definitely parental advisory on this one. Lots of gore and violence in this one, which, is cool. When it comes to Wolverine.
I was thinking about that when we first started reading X-Men in the 80s. As vicious and crazy as Wolverine was, they never showed it.
Yeah.
We never got that, and we're always waiting for it. It's like, man, that would be so awesome. 30 years later, and we've just naturally moved to where things are more acceptable, and we're seeing it.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'm thinking, it's kind of like the old Howard Stern show. Once he wasn't censored anymore, I had to watch what he could say. It kind of lost some of its appeal, and it's like when I see the viciousness of Wolverine, I kind of miss when it wasn't, when it was more implied.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. So I finally got what I was waiting for. It's like, oh man, I just want to see him. Like,
I gotcha. I see what you're saying, but I can definitely appreciate both. I can.
Yeah.
I think we just talked about that with Rebel Moon, how I can appreciate that PG version. I thought it was really good, but I'm excited, obviously being older now, for the Snyder cut, more R-rated version or whatever. And it's like when we saw Logan with Wolverine, it's like I can definitely appreciate violence, seeing that violence and the gore and stuff. But I can still appreciate what you're saying too, where they cut away from that and it was just implied where we never saw it. That was actually a big scene in Echo, not to get off track a little bit with that too. That was pretty crazy with Echo. If you know what scene I'm talking about, they actually had a pretty violent scene that kind of happened just off screen where we didn't get to see it. You know what I'm talking about, Pat?
Not exactly. I can kind of think of things that there was definitely aspects of it where they would have cut away if it was just a typical Disney Plus general audience show.
Yeah, definitely. I understood completely, and it still gave you that graphic feel even though you didn't see it. So yeah. But anyway, yeah, that's all I read this week too. So I didn't make it that far ahead of you, Mike. I only got one read. I actually wanted to get 2 and 3 read, but it didn't happen. So I understand your plight, Mike.
The book I was intending to read, well, I did read it, but I couldn't wrap it up. I needed that last issue. I read 12 issues.
Daggum of
the whole year. I'm not going to say.
Oh, are we going to see
12 different issues
of the same series?
Oh, okay. Oh boy.
And he doesn't want to reveal that at all until he actually gets the 12th issue or the 13th issue.
The last issue.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, the last issue. Since we don't know what title it is, it could be 277 to 300. Got it. Okay. Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. Okay. All right. That's interesting. A little cliffhanger for you for our next show. Maybe. Hopefully. Could you possibly get it by then? It'll probably be a month.
Probably be next month. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't even know if the book's out yet. tell you the truth. It should have been out, but I don't know if
What is it? I'll let you know.
Okay.
Well, let's just say it's your fault, Mike, that I read this book, so you can probably figure it out.
I don't know.
Usually when people are saying that it's Mike's fault, it's usually a positive though. So Mike, I wouldn't really worry about that.
No, I'm confident. I mean, if he's made it that far into it and hasn't completely bailed on it,
Must be good. Yeah. All right. I can't wait to see this D20 roll in the horizon.
Sorry, I had an idea what it was, and then it wasn't that.
How do you know?
Because I was going to say Little Monsters, but that's already finished. So
Yeah, I did finish that up too.
Yeah.
Yep.
Are you ready for the D20 roll now?
yes, I'll stop interrupting.
All right. Cool. All right, awesome. Before you start, Pat, I got a question for you.
Can I switch? Is it okay to switch over?
Yeah. Do you think that you two? This is just for you two. This is a question about a possible game I want to play at some point. Do you think that the two of you could identify every segment we have just on its music? Like if I just made an audio trivia just for you two, and it was just the segment music, could you name all the segments based on just the music?
No.
I don't
Pat?
think so. I don't think I could do it.
No?
No.
I think I could do it. I'm not 100% sure either, but I think I'm pretty confident that I could, because it's one of my favorite parts of each segment is the lead-in music. It's so good. And you know, to toot my own horn, obviously I picked them, but I can't tell you enough how random a choice it was when I picked them. It was like a frustrating, anxiety-filled decision for me every time. I'm like, just this one. But now, obviously, since we've come so far with them, I adore them.
Yeah,
So,
they all fit.
Yeah.
So I would recognize them, but what segment? I don't know. And I play air drums and air guitar on them all the time. I don't know if you guys do.
Yeah, I do too. Every time. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So I'm always out of breath. Like, oh.
All right, Pat, what do you got?
All right. I appreciated the stall because I was looking for something, but I did not find it. I can talk about it later. We're going to go back and talk about something we talked about last week, because none of these things were put up for pre-order. Now they have been put up for pre-order, so I can give some more details and some additional pictures. So this is Sideshow's Batgirl premium format statue. There we can kind of get an idea of her scale. She's 22 inches tall. And you can see the base now. The base is coming clear about what's happening with the base, and it's actually Clayface in the base, and we'll see some more details of that coming up too. Here's a shot of it. Just for Kevin.
Thanks, man. Thanks. Appreciate it. That looks awesome.
There's a close-up of her face.
Wow.
And here's a close-up of Clayface's faces. So you can see Jim Gordon in there and Batman in there, which is pretty cool, I think.
Very cool.
I think we threw out some guesses at numbers like 500, 600.
Yeah.
$710.
Nice. Almost got it.
Wow. Yep. That's amazing.
Yep.
You said that's 22 inches?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm gonna actually say that ain't bad.
I could say that if I wasn't married with kids, if it was still like 2000 when I was doing all my my statue buying, I wouldn't even blink twice.
Exactly. So basically,
700,
you're
I'm
saying,
like,
yes,
order it.
700 is a deal. Exactly.
I'll eat ramen for a month. Order it.
Sit there eating ramen, staring at your Batgirl statue.
Yeah, exactly. Talking to it because of you that I'm eating this poorly.
Yes, you would be all alone. Wouldn't be able to afford cable, so you just have to look at your statue. No streaming. You know, the one interesting thing about this, normally with a sideshow, you get swap out parts, things like that. I did not see anything, at least on my quick glance the other day. There usually, you have a different portrait or a different weapon or something. Nothing here that I could see, but I could be wrong. All right, this next item is brought to you courtesy of Kevin, and appropriate since he finished up Monarch. But first, we want to do a little bit of rewinding to the early or the mid 2023 when this figure was released. This is Jakks Pacific Super Mario Brothers the movie Bowser figure.
Okay.
And one of the highlights about this Bowser figure that made him so hot was because he could breathe smoke.
Nice.
What do you
A lot
just
of
put
people got on board. A lot of people like this figure. Sorry, Mike, I talked right over you. Go ahead.
I was just making a stupid joke. Did you just put like a cigarette in the back there? Like a little hole.
I never did investigate the technology behind this.
Could be then. So the answer isn't no.
That's true. But he actually got some eyes on him. A lot of people were looking for him at the time. I think he was a $30 figure, I believe. I've seen him cheaper. A lot of the Mario Brothers figures went on discount or clearance. But this leads us to other people glomming onto that same technology, because here we have Jada Toys, and from Godzilla vs. Kong, we have the Heat Ray Breath Godzilla remote control figure.
Right?
Heat. What?
And I tried, but I failed. I tried to bring in the video because the still shots just don't do him justice. But he breathes fire or heat ray, much like Bowser does. And he's pretty cool, actually. Yeah. He is 12 and a half inches tall, 12 and a half inches long from his snout to his tail. And he's retailing at $60. So
and he's remote control that not only he'll breathe fire, but he'll also move around, right?
Yeah, he does shuffle along. The technology, I think, is all in his chest area because there's something a little off. He's a little busty.
Yeah.
For my liking.
Right.
Looks like maybe Frank Miller drew him.
But this, I knew previous to Kevin's throwing this my way, I knew about this figure because a lot of people have been looking for it. He showed up. He seems to be showing up at Targets and causing a bit of a hubbub because people are wanting him. So, and his dorsal fins light up. It's pretty cool. So yeah, awesome. It's Jakks. Jada Toys. I should have done a little bit more of an investigation on this too, because previously Bandai had been doing all the Godzilla and Kong figures. I don't know if they still are, or they're just sort of shooting off this remote control action feature Godzilla off to Jada Toys, who if you don't know, did all the metal figures, the minifigs, the metal figs. They were probably their biggest hit. And they're still doing stuff in that vein. They still do the cars, and they do the standalone figures with them, and they're still doing like the big 20 packs. You see that they do them all the time. They pump out repaints constantly.
One of my favorites. Absolutely. Definitely.
Yeah. So we'll go to Todd next, and he showed up for pre-order this week the DC Multiverse figures. This is a Crisis on Infinite Earths wave. The Build-A-Figure is the Monitor there on the left-hand side, and we'll go through them individually here. Dag nabbit, looks like one of them dropped off. Looks like Kid Flash is missing. And Kid Flash is actually my least favorite of this wave. There's something about his shoulders, they're too broad or something. You can kind of see it in that picture there.
His face
but
is
here,
not very kid-like.
yeah, that's it. His upper body and his face look too adult for me. Kid Flash is always, thin, lithe runner style body, and there's just something about him that seems off to me. But there's the Spectre. I think he looks fine.
This was awesome. Yeah, I love that one.
Here's Superman from Earth 2, the older Superman. The only thing that bugs me about this one was I always thought Earth 2 Superman had, the white gray temples. And there's a little bit of a dry brush you can't really get from this photograph, but it's not as prominent as I thought it was, he should be from the comics. He kind of has a weird look, kind of like a disgusted look on his face. There's something about it. Don't love it.
Right.
And then we have Psycho Pirate, which is fine. I mean, he's a masked figure. He can't really screw up his face, but I don't know if he's a hugely popular character out there. So we'll see how he fares. And like I said, buy them all, and you can assemble the monitor there on the left.
You mentioning that, we'll see how this bears out,
Yeah.
Can you get the stats on this stuff? Like, is there a place you can see the stats for those stuff, like specifically?
Sales?
Yeah.
You mean?
Just out of curiosity. I'm not trying to put any more work on you. I'm just curious. Is there a place you know of?
I wouldn't know where to even begin there. I mean, yeah. I think a lot of the time you might be able to get some sales data on how well McFarlane does as a whole at a particular store. If you really
each figure and
dug
stuff
into it. Yeah. That's just kind of judging. You would kind of have to judge by what we actually see with our eyes about, figures that are hanging around on pegs.
Right. That would be interesting though, right? Wouldn't it be interesting to see how, if we do the Jokerized figure and then you see, this sold 27 figures worldwide.
Right. Well, okay. So speaking of hanging around on pegs and getting to our tease of the week, Hasbro had in this past year released the Dungeons and Dragons animated figures to varied success. A lot of it you could blame on the cardboard packaging where you couldn't see the actual figures. I know there were production problems with the figures, were fragile legs and arms. But that's not stopping Super 7 because strangely enough, they're rolling the dice and they're doing their own animated series line.
Yeah, I'm pretty frustrated by this. Personally, I'm like, well, I have a couple questions. Maybe if you can answer, Pat.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know if this is forecast to be like multiple lines again? So it's like, this is series 1, these 4, and then series 2 is going to be the others and blah, blah. Do you know how that's going to play out? Or is this is all we got, and this is all the information you know as of right now?
As of right now, yes, but that's typically Super 7. It will depend on the sales of the initial, release or the initial solicitations. I can't remember if I talked about the Star Trek line, the Star Trek Next Generation line. Super 7 did a pre-order on 3 figures. I think it was Picard, Data, and Guinan. Guinan did not make the sales quota, so she was axed, and I don't think any further Next Generation figures have been announced. So that kind of tells you their strategy as far as what they produce. If these are strong sellers, they would certainly continue. But then again, here we're rolling the dice. Will they complete the team?
Right. Yeah.
So what we have here, we'll go through them. We have Hank. You can see this is their Ultimates line. So they're $55, quite a bit more than your Hasbro typical figure, especially when you were able to find most of the Hasbro on clearance, deep
Yeah.
clearance.
Yeah.
But with the higher price comes a slightly bigger scale. These are typically 6.5, 7-inch figures. And they always come with a lot of multiple hands, a lot of heads. I heard, I don't know, Kevin, obviously you knew about this.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you read anything. I was seeing a lot of negativity towards some of the faces. But
Yeah.
yeah.
And I think it's because, since all these were just out with Hasbro and the groups I'm in for the animated Dungeons and Dragons, a lot of us are kind of just like me, where we're just getting we're just finishing out the series, not working on finishing out the series. I need like 2 more
Right.
to finish the first set of everyone. And then this is announced. So I think you run into big comparison too. And when it comes to comparison, it's also relative to dollar amount too. So, you know what I mean?
Sure.
Like if this is so much more expensive, this better be at least as good, but probably should be better for most to be able to sell, and yeah, I think most of us, including myself in this, are talking about how the face, especially for the archer here, it was better with Hasbro, even with having 3 faces,
Yeah. We'll run through them. Sheila, again, I heard comments about her portraits. You see, I can't really comment because I'm not on, the big D&D fan from the 80s. So
they look, man, I wish I could articulate how I feel about things artistically as well as you guys do. I say it all the time, but yeah, her face just doesn't look right. Obviously you can, well, I was just getting ready to say, obviously you can tell it's her, but I'm going to actually, backpedal on that a little bit. On the faces without the outfit and the whole thing, you can't even tell that's her. If you saw just that head and asked a bunch of, random people that were aware of animated Dungeons and Dragons, who's this? They'd be like, Scooby-Doo's character. I don't know. It just doesn't look right. It's crazy, and it should be better. It should be perfect for $55.
Yeah. And keep in mind also that these, as with all Super 7 pre-orders, they're all digital renders. So it could either be worse or it could be better. You just don't know. But you will be able to see them through the packaging. So you can judge for yourself when they finally hit shelves, probably sometime late next year, I would imagine. The one thing that this has going for it, which from what I gather, is the villains. And here we have Decion. I don't know if it's just one character, Kevin. Maybe you can help me out here.
Yeah.
Or if it's a bunch of them.
Well, there was a bunch of similar to him, but he's a specific character himself. Yeah.
Okay. He's like the leader, maybe.
Exactly. Right. Yeah.
Which I think he's cool. I can't tell you if he's on model to the show or not, but.
Well, that's what I was thinking. You said these are a little bit bigger, right?
Yes.
So he would be cool just to get him by himself to go with the old set, So.
And there was a lot of comments along those lines. They said, even if you don't buy the heroes, they would definitely buy the villains to fill in their D&D animated collection. So, and then we have the Shadow Warrior.
Yep.
Warrior. I don't know about them either, Kevin.
Yeah, Warriors. Yeah, there's multiple of those. Yeah.
And you're getting a 2-pack here. So,
yeah, the villains. Yeah, it's odd that the villains, which I'm not a big villain collector like that, but I would totally be on board with what I hear everybody saying too, that the villains are what to get out of these, at least to try to support it. To, like you're saying, they gotta be supported to get more,
right? And like I said, $55 retail. But like many of their waves for Sideshow, they're doing these bonuses if you order the entire wave. And I have a hard time calling this a big bonus. If you buy the whole wave for $220, you get this exclusive super pack.
That's not a super pack, Pat.
Hey, I didn't name it, Kevin. But it's basically the same, accessories, only they're glow in the dark, So I don't know. Well, I don't know about the ring. I don't know if the ring shows up in anybody else's. I don't think it does. Oh yeah, it does.
Yeah, right there.
Looks like maybe he gets the glow in the dark for his main one, but the weapons pack is the painted version. So I don't know. I don't know if that's a big advantage for ordering all of them at once as the wave, but
yeah,
bonus pieces,
no,
yeah,
it's not. It's not. I'll answer that right now.
I thought you were getting ready to show me another figure that you'd get if you did.
There you go.
Nope. All right, so that's the D&D, Kevin. What's your final verdict? How would you wrap up this announcement? Being the D&D fan.
Yeah, I'm excited about getting the villains when they come in, and I'm assuming, like you said, if they end up being the same once they actually hit the shelves, I'll totally pass on even if they're a little bit better. But unless they're better than what I've already got, I'm not gonna get a whole nother second set that's extremely similar to what I just got. But
Right.
except I'll get the villains though. But
yeah.
And it seems like most people are that way with the people that I've read comments about in the groups I'm in. So I think it's the frustration mostly too about the ones that are like me that don't even have the whole full set of the first ones.
Right.
It's crazy how things like this come around too. I can't even remember what brought this back to, for me paying attention to it. It's been recently though, within the last year, I'd say. Maybe a little bit longer than that. And it was Johnny that introduced me to a group. Then I've gotten into it more, went out and bought all the animated series again. Then they made a guest starring, or then they started releasing the figures. Then they made a guest starring appearance in the new Dungeons and Dragons movie, which was exciting. Now we got a second animated series. It's kind of, it's crazy how things kind of play out like that. You never know what's going to just kind of happen to make them focus on trying to sell the heck out of us now,
Right.
Anyway, love animated D&D though. Maybe if they make it to clearance.
So that, I mean, you can't obviously you can't bet on that, but
right.
The craziness of that is that some of the GI Joe Ultimates, around Christmas time this year, they were marked down to $10 on certain websites.
Oh, wow.
But again, that doesn't spell longevity for the line.
Right. Yeah, that's the catch-22, right? Hopefully the villains get it done to get more. Yep.
Right. Okay. Let me see here. Wait, look at that amazing archery set. I was trying to get my missing picture.
I've been looking at that. It's like, ooh, still not going to buy
it. Since I work so hard, I'm going to throw this up right now. This is just a little bit of information. Best Buy is no longer doing physical media in store. They're phasing it out. So they were the ones that were doing all the steel books for the MCU. It is now apparently that Walmart is going to pick up that slack and carry the steel books for the MCU going forward. So this is Marvel's movie I haven't yet to see. It will hit stores February 13th, but it goes up for pre-order January 15th. So if you want to continue your MCU Steelbook collection, you're gonna have to go to Walmart.
Might be easier. I mean, Best Buy really hasn't been for me anyway, hasn't been a destination point in 15 years.
True.
Yeah, it's odd how Best Buy I'm the same way. As soon as Best Buy fell off of my focus for going to pick up, physical movies and stuff, I don't go there anymore either.
So
Yeah.
I think it's a good thing.
The only problem is Best Buy was good at fulfilling pre-orders. Walmart has a bad history of canceling pre-orders and not fulfilling pre-orders. So, yeah, you know, maybe they'll have enough physical inventory in their stores. Who knows? And we still don't know the price either. It'll probably be up there with the Best Buy pricing, you know. So,
are you planning in general on getting this one, Pat?
I will probably try to continue my streak.
Yeah, that's how they get you. It's like
I'd love to see that. I'd love to see that collection together. I want to see that collection of steel books, Pat.
Yeah, I'll have to take a picture of them all one of these days. Okay. We had one for Kevin. We'll have one for Mike. A little bit of a suggestion. This is Spiro Toys Warriors of the Animal Kingdom. And I kind of just, there were so many of them because they're on wave 4. This is wave 1. And I'm kind of just showing a group shot. But if you go to their website, they have some really cool action-y shots of the figures and backgrounds, which Kevin, I know you love.
Yeah.
These are 6-inch figures. They also do a line of 4-inch figures as well. But this is going back to like 2016, where they started kickstarting these waves. They've had several successful Kickstarter campaigns. Like I said, 6-inch figures. They started around the $30 price point, but that was 2016. I think they're now $35, but there's some deluxe figures that will run you like double. We'll see those coming up. But they're really cool looking figures. They had really detailed armor and outfits and different heads and things like that. That's wave 1. Here's wave 2. In wave 2, you can kind of see that giant oversized gorilla figure. So he's one of their deluxe figures. So he's like double the price. He's like $60. So he, and you know, it's obviously, you can see there side by side, he's probably like, if the other ones are 6 inches, he's at least 7 or 7.5 inches. And you know, those huge, big, broad shoulders on that gorilla figure make him awesome. Rather imposing. Here's wave 3. Actually, this might be still part of wave 2. They started doing like these army building sets where you can see these are kind of more like plain Jane. They don't have quite as many accessories, and you can actually buy armory sets, and you can buy, and we'll get to these too. I have a couple pictures. You can buy different heads and swap the heads out and make different combinations of creatures. So
that's cool.
Yes, that's I was wrong there. This is part of wave 2. Now here's wave 3. Sort of looks like a little, kind of some repaints being done here, but still some pretty cool figures. Here's wave 4.
And these are the comics that you previewed today in the previous previews, right, Mike?
Yeah, the Animal Warriors of the Kingdom. That when I was researching that book, I stumbled across these. I'm like, are you kidding me? Based on it. So then I just sent Pat, I'm like, hey, I'm going to cover this book. And yeah, so he jumped on this.
It's awesome. Awesome combo. Way to 1-2 the wallet. Way to 1-2 the wallet.
Right. And it looks like this last wave here hasn't hit yet. I don't believe it's still in production, or hasn't, you know, everybody hasn't got theirs. But they seem to try to keep reissuing the figures so you can go back and buy the older ones. And like I said, here's and this is just one of 3 different head packs. This is and they're really cool. This is sort of like an assortment, you know. There's an additional like gorilla pack, and there's a feline pack. And then you know, again, you can get different weapons and armory, things like that.
That is really cool.
It's like they've gone all in, you know. And then you look at what Super 7 with the Dungeons & Dragons are kind of, well, we'll see how things go. These guys have just gone all in, and I like the fact that you said, you know, you can go back and still get wave 1. You know, if you just find out about it now and wave 3 is coming out, it's like, dang, I don't want to have to aftermarket price this stuff. So.
Yeah, I do like that, Paul. I don't 100% quote me on that, but it seems like you'll go back to their other waves, and some might be out of stock, but some might be in stock.
Still
but
available.
it seems like they do go back into production with them.
Yeah.
It's sort of Four Horsemen. This reminds me a lot of Four Horsemen's marketing and strategy plan of their own creations, and also Boss Fight Studio. They do sort of similar things, their own original creations, and to offset the costs of all of the different sculpting, all the different molds. They reissue them, mix things up, throw things in a blender, different colors of armor, different heads to make new figures. And it's a good strategy because it seems to be working for a lot of these companies. And Spiro here with the Warriors of the Animal Kingdom seems to be no different. They seem to have a niche hit on their hands. And this isn't mainstream. You're not going to find these on Walmart or Target shelves, but those diehard action figure collectors that like to group, to army build and to diorama build, they love this kind of stuff, where you can mix and match and things like that.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. So the last item on my list, and I wasn't going to talk about this because this sort of hurts my heart a little bit because I'm not going. I don't think I'm going to go for this. And I didn't know it was going to be so easy to get because it's Bandai Japan. They're doing a 50th anniversary of the Jumbo Machinder Mazinger figure. Uh-oh. Can you guys see anything?
No. Point away.
There we go.
You got something?
Yep.
Yeah, it's up there now. Yep.
Oh, it was delayed for me for some reason. This is your Shogun Warriors from the 1970s.
Awesome.
2 feet tall. They're made. The production is going to be very similar. They're using the blow mold plastic, fireable fists, fireable weapons, and hopefully I can switch between here. Oh, there we go. There's the main shot. There he is. There he is firing his fists.
Nice.
Or his fist on that one, but both arms do fire. And he also has the rocket firing mechanism on both hands.
So cool.
And there's the hover piledler, however you pronounce it, the ship that the human pilot rides in that docks on the head of Mazinger. So often imitated, never duplicated is what I'll say about the Jumbo Machinders from Japan, the Shogun Warriors, because different companies have tried, and they've had moderate successes, I think. But the price tag was always outrageous. I mean, Super 7 did some. Mattel, I don't know if you remember, there was the Skeletor maybe a year and a half ago. He was upwards. Oh, I think it was over. I think it was $325. And that was always one of the big sticking points. I just, for a single figure, $300 some for a blow mold, bit of nostalgia for the Shogun Warriors. I just couldn't do it. But this is sort of like the real deal. And surprisingly, they came, the price was announced in Japan at 199 yen, which is pretty equivalent. You just move a decimal point a space or two. So it'd be like $199, but because of the weak yen to dollar ratio, Sideshow's actually offering this of all people, which I was shocked. I was in there getting the Batgirl statue information, and I saw this on their website. He's $175 through Sideshow. So when you compare that to the imitators out there that have done faux jumbo figures in the past, this seems like a pretty good deal, especially because it's sort of coming from the source Bandai, and they're doing multiple firing mechanisms. I want this, but I'm like, and the price is enticing. The price is enticing, coming in at 175. But I'm like, where am I going to put this guy.
Yeah,
Right.
he said 2 feet. Holy cow!
And
Yeah,
I was
He's
like,
he's a perfect corner stander in the living room.
right. You know, I mean, we have a giant Godzilla from the first movie.
Uh-huh.
He kind of was like he greeted you in the entryway for years. But it's just like where you these things are awesome, but you know, then where do you put them? I really
Right.
don't have the room to display 2 foot tall Japanese giant robots in my
Right.
house. And
Right.
and I almost guarantee you that this guy is going to be a hit, and they're going to continue doing more of these.
right.
And I feel like it's just the road I cannot go down. So as of right now, I'm off the fence on the side of just can't do it. Not gonna do it. Not gonna do it.
All right, here's the
I love
question.
it.
Here's the
Yes.
question, Pat. What price would this have to be to where you would do it?
I mean, that sort of is the price logistically, but I feel like I just keep telling myself,
So even if it were $50, you wouldn't get it, even though you don't have the space.
yeah, that's the thing. I'm like,
Okay.
yeah, it's just a display, and believe me, I'm in no position to criticize people for buying things that they don't have the space to display, because I've
Right.
got too much stuff put in storage, you know, that isn't on display. So,
Yeah.
but it's just part of me is like, it's just another thing that I just couldn't do. So I love it. I love it so much, though. I couldn't believe it when I saw it announced. And I was additionally surprised when I saw it on Sideshow's website. So
It is awesome. It is awesome. I'm not a huge fan of those, but I definitely remember having these and not this one in particular. I don't, remember, but I know I had friends and I played with these and done all the cool, fun things you can do with them. And so I'm not even a huge fan of this stuff, but man, that is awesome. And I love it too. So good.
And that's it for the Rise, and that's all I have. I was a little more than I was glad. I was grateful for the help this week, because things have been a little slow. Although I did get quite a few items, other than your suggestions. So it was a pretty nice sized chunk of Horizon goodness this week, I guess.
Yeah, perfect timing. And Pat mentioned to me, I guess we sent toys at similar times, Mike, because he, as soon as I sent him my suggestion, he was like, Mike just sent me some toys too. What are you guys trying to say?
Yeah.
It was literally it couldn't have even been 30 minutes apart when I got those two texts.
That's funny.
And I try not to send stuff because I know, it has to be something that is really, 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 really impresses me, I'm like, because I don't follow a lot of that stuff. So it's fun to watch what you're bringing.
Yeah.
But that one just kind of coincided with that comic. And I was like, holy cow, this is great. So.
Yeah, and I figured like you mentioned, Pat, when you showed Godzilla, that was perfect for me wrapping up Monarch today. And I'm sure that's why it was in my Facebook feed, or it was in whatever feed, social media feed it was on.
Yeah,
that I got it. I'm sure my phone's listening, because I was talking up Monarch to everybody in the house after that episode ended because of how much I loved it. And my phone heard me, so it gave me a Godzilla toy. That's funny and not funny and scary all at the same time. All right, awesome though. Again, Pat, great job.
Thanks.
So we ready to recap this monster of a show? No pun intended.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, I've said it once. I'll say it. I've said it many times. If I've said it once, I'll say it again. The ending of a show will make or break a show. And it's a mixed bag for me, but it did it with What If Season 2. Check out that mixed bag in pieces is what I would recommend. Pat?
Now that we're on issue 2, Battle World is proving that this Secret War should have remained a secret.
I'd say apparently I have made the leap from superhero comics to animal themed comics.
Right.
I'll say.
Yeah, never on. Oh, Karen, you got anything? Karen says, Mike, read Lunar Lodge or read Lunar Lodge previously, and Patrick is the only one to read previously to that. What?
Oh, last week I read Lunar Lodge #1, and the week before that, Patrick was the only one to do a book.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay.
Thank you, Karen, my hero. I'd read a superhero book called Karen.
Nice.
She's trying to take back the name by doing good things.
Give Karen a good name.
All right, unlike Secret Wars from Pat, Predator versus Wolverine just keeps getting better and more violent, in my opinion. So check that out. Pat?
Distillery, what are you doing here? When you charge $9 cover price for a book, you don't put out 5 a month.
I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I missed Kevin's review of Echo, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to go watch it.
As anyone else that's just tuning in now should do. Go back and watch.
I'm not watching What The, though. I heard that was trash at the end.
What if, not what the, what if, yeah.
Yeah, what if?
Watch
What the?
2, 3, and 4. You'll like it.
What the? What if? They're asking questions.
Karen? Karen says Bowser did not pick up smoking. LOL, it's actually water vapors. There you go. More information for you, Mike. Karen is your hero.
Well, it's way less cool now.
Me and Bowser and probably the Godzilla have that in common. We don't actually smoke; it's vapor. But that wasn't my recap. My final one probably here is just check out the previous previews. Not only if you're into comics and collectibles, but also in gaming. Check out a couple 3 good games that I showed today. So, Pat.
I love you, Jumbo Mashinder Mazinger, but I just don't have room in my house to adopt another 2-foot tall robot.
Nice. Mike.
Yeah, my final one would be I guess I am still a fan of Frank Miller's current style that he's doing. It's kind of his old style, but in an abstract way.
Yeah, I'm sure he appreciates that.
You know what I don't appreciate, Frank? Leaving us hanging in Baltimore, but I'm over it now.
I don't think you are, actually.
Not.
Karen. No. Okay, I'm going to add this. Oh, Karen loves this.
Right.
Oh, that's
Love
sweet.
Karen.
Sweet closing.
Thank you. Love you too.
I'm going to add this. Actually, I said my last one was my last one because I thought I'd get this from Mike. It was a perfect segue from Patrick talking about loving the giant robot, but he doesn't have room in his life. Mike loves the giant Batgirl, but he doesn't have, or he has too many women in his life already to be able to afford it. And he doesn't have the taste for ramen noodles, apparently, like he used to. So.
I'm done.
Yeah,
Mike.
Yeah, that's all. And the women, my wife and daughter.
Yeah, yeah, right. Yeah, wife and daughter. That's what I meant.
Yeah.
All right, so let's get into this. And I just wanted to say this too to anyone who was checking us out on Instagram. They might have moved over on YouTube. Instagram ended early. And I was actually reading this last week that most live streams on Instagram can only go to an hour. So remind me to say goodbye to the Instagram viewers at about an hour of our show.
On the switch over.
Yeah. All right, here we go though. Please like. Oh, sorry, Mike. What'd you say?
Start a second one right after. I don't know if it's possible. Anyway, we'll sort it out. Bye.
All right, please like, subscribe, and hit that bell to get notified of everything we post. We'd also love to see all your thoughts, questions, and suggestions commented below. Be sure to subscribe to Comics and Collectibles in the Crawl Space on Spotify for podcasters and many other podcast providers. And listen to the edited podcast of this live stream on Spotify that'll be posted no later than Tuesday. It's a great show, trust me. And you can help support Exceller Comics cover combat shows. Wait. That's a cover combat one that's left in there. Sorry about it. Follow Exceller Comics on Facebook, Instagram, and/or X, aka Twitter. And follow Exceller_Comics on TikTok and Whatnot. And watch our shows on the Whatnot app. Had a great show last night. It was a lot of fun. A lot of great chat last night, too. Great time and the best sales night we've had in a while. And you can bookmark one of our shows right now. Comic book shows, for that matter. You can actually bookmark two because we're actually doing a Pokemon show for the first time ever. The plan for that is to be on Tuesday night, but you can bookmark that now in case it moves. Tuesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for our first Pokemon show. We've got a lot of great stuff, and as I was selling it last night, I don't know anything about current Pokemon values, so you're sure to get a ridiculous deal.
Come and steal my stuff.
Yeah. And then Thursday, we've got a regular scheduled comic book show as well. So like I said, you can bookmark both of those now. And then check out what we have to offer on eBay at Exceller_Comics and in our shop at excellercomics.com. And you can find the shop tab at the top of the homepage of our website. And you can help support the show and everything we do and plan to do through Patreon at patreon.com/ExcellerComics. And then watch our live stream on YouTube or Facebook. Not next Saturday, but the next Saturday after that. We had a conversation last week about next Saturday, this Saturday. This is 2 Saturdays from now, January 27th at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're taking off next Saturday. There'll still be a Cover Combat show next week, though. It's just the regular show that's taking a week break. And then, speaking of that Cover Combat show, you can watch Round 4 of Cover Combat 7 viewer submissions this coming Monday, January 15th at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Lastly, you can keep up with everything Exceller has planned with the newly added Karen's Calendar feature that's located at the top of our homepage at excellercomics.com as well. Because we do a lot of stuff, Mike. You need some place to keep track of it all, right?
I know. I can't keep track of it.
I can't even keep track of it. And I'm doing a lot of it. Like
a lot of it, yeah.
75%.
I show up here on Saturdays.
No, you do so much more. We all do. All right. Pat, do you have anything else in closing?
I do not.
Mike.
I'll just got a couple birthday wishes. Lexi, happy birthday, and Dee, my sister-in-law, happy birthday to her as well. That's all I got. I'll see everyone next week.
That was a great addition, Mike. Karen? Karen's done. So I'm gonna add on to that as well. Happy birthday, D. And special shout out to like I said, the people I had in my chat in my Whatnot show last night. Love Bloat, your grandpa Broton. A lot of great active watchers last night. Makes the show a great time. So I really appreciate that. And that'll do it then. And until next time, don't forget, appreciating great art is awesome. And reading a great story is fun. So why not pick up a comic book and do both? Exceller out.